Serbi's team won't expect to get 24 shots of goal against this Arsenal defence all season long. Brighton do so well in terms of possession stats. They hold the ball. Will they be able to hold it against title-chasing Arsenal here? Arsenal in their change strip, sort of luminous yellowy green. Gabriel Jesus, high-kicking like a can-can girl in front of us, stretching out his hamstrings, poised to go ahead of kickoff. Brighton in the blue and white stripes. The players take a knee ahead of kickoff. This is one of the Premier League's designated weekends for that. A timely reminder that there is no place for racism or indeed any other type of discrimination in football. We are underway. Gabriel Jesus, who had jumped the gun there, had actually run into the Brighton half before the ball was kicked, but referee John Brooks decided not to be too pedantic. And Arsenal attacking the end away to our left-hand side, immediately win a free kick. Van Hecke into the back of Kai Havertz. Danny Gabbidon alongside me. We've been looking forward to this one, Danny.
I certainly am, Conor. Can Arsenal respond to that earlier Man City result? Can they put pressure on Liverpool, who of course play tomorrow? Difficult game against Manchester United. It was about this time last season when Arsenal kind of fell apart, didn't they? Really went off the rails. Have they learned from previous mistakes? Certainly starting to look that way, but it's going to be a difficult game for them. Brighton in decent form, particularly at home this season, and we know what they're capable of doing. Brilliant football that they play, so going to be an intriguing game, this one.
Free kick to Arsenal. Martin Odegaard to take it on the edge of the penalty area. False start, and he goes back to reset again, and then he clips it in. Looks to be too close to the goalkeeper, but with the flashing header, Gabriel got there first and puts his header wide. Exactly a minute played at the Amex, and Arsenal with a glorious chance to take the lead. Gabriel, who's been such a high-scoring defender this season, should have scored.
Yeah, and it's 2 or 3 Arsenal players who look offside, don't quite get themselves back in the line, but Gabriel does, and he should score. It's as simple as that. Teasing delivery from Odegaard. Verbruggen just slightly unsure whether to come or not.
Raya with a miscued clearance down the other end. Saliba's going to try and head it clear on the edge of the penalty area. Brighton do get possession. So Arsenal with a big goal-scoring opportunity with a minute played, but they weren't able to take it. This remains Brighton Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 0. Van Hecke has possession 10 yards into his own half, and under pressure from Kai Havertz, he rolls it back to Verbruggen, the Dutch goalkeeper wearing all orange, suitably for a Dutchman. There's a chance for Tariq Lamptey, who scored against Arsenal in the League Cup last season, to bring the ball over the halfway line. Number 2 on his back. He'll roll it into the midfield to Carlos Baleba, the Cameroon international, who's done well in the centre of the park for Brighton lately. And now Lewis Dunk, the captain, who scored the last time Brighton beat Arsenal. That was back in the behind closed doors summer of 2020. Brighton still in possession with Dunk. Over the halfway line they come to the Polish international Jakub Moder, who celebrates his birthday tomorrow. Pascal Gross, who's already into double figures for assists this season in the Premier League. And then an attempt to cross in from the left-hand side from Julio Enciso. He's closed down, and the ball goes out for a corner kick. First corner of the game is for Brighton. 0-0 at the Amex and 5 live.
Yeah, really good response from Brighton. Gabriel really should score that header. Free header, he's probably 6 yards out, and he misses the goal completely. You'll be really disappointed, but Brighton, their first kind of passage of possession, forcing a corner down the other end.
Pascal Gross is going to take the corner. All of his Brighton teammates hanging at the far post from where this is going to come. Left-hand side as Brighton come forward. In-swinger for Pascal Gross. Gabriel wins the header in front of Raya, and then it's going to sit up. Well, it didn't quite sit up for Adingra. No room for him to shoot, and the referee then stops play because there is an Arsenal player, Jorginho, down on the edge of his own 6-yard box. It is a head injury, and that's why the referee has stopped play. Jorginho presumably challenging for the ball as the corner came in, and he didn't get back to his feet. And even though Brighton had it on the edge of the penalty area, the referees are compelled to hold up play.
Yeah, the referee has no choice. There are a lot of bodies in that kind of near post area where the ball was kind of whipped into. He just gets bundled over. Jorginho stays down, so no other choice for John Brooks but just to blow the whistle there. Just looking at that Gabriel chance again. What a chance it is. Unmarked, that near post area. He's just got to hit the target. It's a goal because the goalkeeper, Verbruggen, is not sure whether to come. Then he kind of stops. He should do better, Gabriel. He knows it.
That was the beauty of the delivery from Odegaard. It felt, we were directly behind him, the trajectory of the ball. It felt like it was going straight to the goalkeeper, but that allowed Gabriel to sprint in ahead of him, and he did get there cleanly in front of the Dutch goalkeeper, but he couldn't plant the header into the back of the net. Jorginho is back up on his feet. He has had treatment, so he will need to leave the field in order to come back on again. Arsenal fans who are housed behind the goal that their team defended in this first half, and they are there in big numbers. Various Arsenal shirts from various phases down through the years. One or two even in there from the invincible season. 20 years since Arsenal were last champions of England. It feels at the moment they have never been better equipped to get back to that top stage, but they've got these 8 finals to go now between now and the end of next month. Players back underway. Jorginho's waiting to be allowed back on. Arsenal temporarily with 10. Dunk has it near the centre circle. Brighton playing from left to right as we look down. And then Van Hecke plays a crossfield ball out towards Julio Enciso. Warm applause to the Brighton fans for that. He tries to cross it back in, takes a deflection. Jumping near the penalty spot was Declan Rice. Acrobatic leap by Baleba to win possession, but the referee felt he was too forceful in his jump into the opponent there. It is a free kick to Arsenal, and suffice to say, that hasn't gone down well with the Brighton fans. Jorginho's back on, Arsenal back to 11, and it's 0-0 here on 5 Live.
And you feel those wide areas are going to be really important for both teams this evening. Adingra and Ciso playing off the left-hand side this evening, and obviously Saka back in the starting 11 on the right-hand side, and Jesus on the left. So it can be really important battles in those wide areas with the full-backs. And Heck just looking to switch the ball quickly from right to left to get Enciso in a 1v1 situation against Ben White.
Mild temperatures in this part of Sussex. No blue in the sky ahead, though. It's a grey cloud over the Amex Stadium. This pitch illuminated by the bright floodlights and reflecting off these fluorescent Arsenal shirts as Zinchenko comes forward down the left-hand side. Rolls it back to Gabriel on the halfway line. Infield again to William Saliba. Saliba's the only Arsenal player who's played in every minute in the Premier League this campaign. Odegaard drops deep, gives a pass to Gabriel, and then he's short to Saliba, and then Brighton nip in, and a chance for Adingra to take it. Good recovery by Gabriel. Arsenal regain possession. Now Brighton are screaming for a free kick there. I think in the referee's credit, John Brooks had clearly allowed play to continue. At the time Brighton were happy, but then they lost it immediately. Nothing the referee can do about that.
Not really, but I think the Brighton fans just wanted the ref to still pull the game back after he got tackled.
Pervis Stupinian delivers from the left-hand side. It's all covered by Alexander Zinchenko, who cushions a header back to the goalkeeper, David Raya. On the Arsenal bench today, Aaron Ramsey. I always wonder, particularly when he comes up against Brighton, more than any other team, he will think back to Mikel Arteta's comments at the start of the season when he said, I'm bringing in David Raya, but he's not going to be the number one. I'm going to rotate my goalkeepers. Well, before today, Verbruggen and Jason Steele, of the 30 Premier League games Brighton have played, they had started 15 each. Now that is rotating your goalkeeper, and really Ramsdale's only played against Brentford. Yeah,
that was a complete lie in the end, wasn't it, from Mikel Arteta. I feel sorry for Ramsdale. I don't think he's done too much wrong, but manager, I think he's wanted Raya for a long time, obviously feels he's better with his feet, can improve the team, and I do feel sorry for him, particularly with him coming out saying those comments about rotation, because that hasn't happened.
And credit to Arteta and his decision making. Arsenal's defence has been fantastic this season, more clean sheets in the Premier League than any other team. That's a lovely one too. Lamptey with Moder to bring it up to the halfway line. Now Simon Adingra will come forward. Lamptey, who's got loads of pace into the penalty area, pulls it back for Enciso, who balloons his shot over the top. Ben White was sliding in on him. I don't know if that forced a change of stance from Enciso, but he scored a brilliant goal here towards the back end of last season against Manchester City, and he's completely failed to hit the target there. Yeah,
brilliant football from Brighton. Worked the ball well down his right-hand side. Lamptey, I just thought he could have kept going, actually. Drove into the 18-yard box a little bit more, but he elects to square it across the 18-yard box for Enciso, and he's just under a little bit of pressure, which makes the strike difficult to get on target.
Good pressure from Baleba, closing in on Gabriel and pinning Arsenal back. The ball goes out for a throw in left full-back position for the home team. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds, the Premier League on the BBC. This 5:30 kickoff. Arsenal hoping to go back to the top of the Premier League. Manchester City won earlier on today. Liverpool travel to Old Trafford tomorrow. And this wafer-thin title race, the best we've had in years and years and years. And it looks like it's going to continue right to the wire. Gabriel has possession, 10 yards inside his own half. Rolls it to his right to William Saliba. Pressure from Moder, who comes forward. Odegaard is dropped deep in amongst the defenders, and he plays a poor pass that is intercepted by Pascal Gross, and Brighton get it back. And you know, that early scare with the Gabriel header, he should have scored. Otherwise it's really been all Brighton in these opening, what have we played now, 10 minutes. Shot from distance from Moder, and he's dragged it away and wide of the target.
Yeah, you have to say the home team have responded well to that early Gabriel chance, and they're starting to get those patterns of play now with their possession game. Ball just played into Welbeck there in the central area, lays it off to Moder. He's got a lot of time and space to size the strike up, and he just drags his shot wide. But it's just interesting because you saw what Arsenal did when it went to the Etihad, and they played slightly different. They dropped a little bit deeper, tried to stay compact, obviously did a good job there, got a point, but certainly reverting more back to type this evening where they're looking to press Brighton high. But Brighton actually enjoy that. They want teams to kind of come on to you so they can try and play through you, and they've had 2 or 3 moments of joy with that already, Brighton.
Brighton, who've got the best run of unbeaten home form in the Premier League. They lost in Europe in September. They haven't lost in the top flight since West Ham came here, and that was all the way back in August. Tariq Lamptey has possession on the right-hand side. Welbeck's the only target up top, and Saliba judged that well, actually. Welbeck tried to nip in ahead of him. Saliba trusted that it would come through to him. And Jorginho now has possession for Arsenal near the centre circle. He'll pass it out to Martin Odegaard. Right wing location. Brighton quick to get bodies back behind the ball, and Saka gives the ball away. Brighton with it cheaply again in the midfield. Been a good start from Roberto De Zerbi's side. Rice gets it back for the visitors. Saliba near the centre circle. He needs the help of Gabriel, and it's all the way back to the goalkeeper, Raya, wearing all black on this visit to the south coast this evening. It's interesting, when Arsenal come out from the back, Welbeck, and I guess it might be his advancing years and the injuries he's had, but he's not the one doing the pressing. Moder and Enciso come, and they've got fresher legs and are able to put pressure on the Arsenal defenders. But now Saka is in around the back down the other end. Dunk is trying to get across. Saka goes around him, and he pulls it across the face of goal and wide. We've seen Saka do that so many times this season, cutting back onto his left boot off the right wing and bending it into the bottom corner. He got the bend here, but not enough. It's wide. It's another let-off for Brighton, 0-0.
Yeah, just waiting for the net to bulge, I really am. Cuts inside on that left foot, and he's looking to bend it in that far corner. Not a million miles away, but he'll be really disappointed. It's a good chance for him.
Bukayo Saka in possession again, stepping into the penalty area, right-hand side, pulls it back for Gabriel Jesus. Shot on target, saved by Verbruggen. What a save from the Dutchman. Finger-tipping it out for a corner, diving to his left-hand side. Gabriel Jesus, who had time to steady himself and really picked his spot, but the goalkeeper, who was already covering that side, was able to dive. I mean, it's a great save. Just seeing several replays here, it looks better every angle.
Yeah, full stretch, dive into his left. Brighton just looking to play out from that goal kick, and they give the ball away in a really poor area. A cut back across the 18-yard box. The Jesus does everything right, looking to bend it in that far corner. Brilliant save.
He's only 21 for Brian. You forget that sometimes. He's a big lad, but so young, and yet he might well be the Netherlands' first choice keeper in the Euros of the summer. Here comes the in-swinger, headed away by Baleba from the Arsenal corner. It goes back out to Saka on the right-hand side. He's got the close support of Martin Odegaard. Odegaard gets the head down, stabs in across. Dunk is patrolling the back post and heads it away, but only as far as Gabriel Jesus. Back into the mixer. Saka tries to jump. Estupiñán beats him in the air. Can't clear it out of the penalty area. Juggling skills from Gabriel Jesus as he tries to get it under his control, but Adingra is able to clear away. Brighton feeling the heat of Arsenal pressure now. Still 0-0. Danny Gabbidon.
Yeah, good response from Arsenal. First time really Brighton have been poor in possession and kind of giving the ball away, and it's just giving that incentive to Arsenal. Just penning Brighton in now.
Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 0. There will be many interested listeners to this commentary from Manchester and from Liverpool to see if Arsenal might drop points here on the south coast this evening. Jorginho has the ball just outside the penalty area, gives it to the right-hand side to Saka. Excellent pressure from Enciso, and Odegaard is to nip in and just scoop the ball away from the Argentinian to hold on to possession. Enciso suddenly jumps back again, wins it off wide. Brilliant energy from Julio Enciso, winning the ball for Brighton. They tried to launch a counter-attack, but the long ball carries all the way through to David Raya.
Yeah, excellent defensive work in Enciso, and then really good job of kind of keeping hold of the ball as well, because he had no real options ahead of him, and he just little Cruyff turn, recycles possession. In the end, they have to play the ball long to get out.
Here is Havertz through the middle. First time he's had the ball at his feet in the penalty area. Dunk stands him up. Havertz crosses it to Gabriel Jesus, who puts the header across the face of goal as well. Now that's 3 big chances Arsenal have had now. 3 chances you would expect them to score, and the goalkeeper hasn't had to make a save in any of them. He did save from the other one from Gabriel Jesus, but 3 occasions, Gabriel, Saka and Gabriel Jesus, that Arsenal have put big chances wide.
Well, the pick out from Havertz is outstanding. You can see what he's trying to do, Jesus. He's just trying to nod it back across the goalkeeper where the cross has come from. Doesn't hit the target, but brilliant centre-forward play from Havertz. Initially the run in behind Dunk, great composure, and then a great pick out for Jesus, who's making that run on the far post. Should do better.
Pascal Gross has it deep in the midfield for Brighton, gives it to his right hand side to Jan-Paul Van Hecke. Van Hecke, who's making his 50th appearance for the club. Dunk, under pressure from Odegaard, turns and rolls it back to the goalkeeper for Brugge, who's got no choice than to slam it away, but Kai Havertz closing in on him. The clearance goes high up over the halfway line. Ben White jumps and wins the header. Falls down for Danny Welbeck, who'll turn and calmly roll it back to Lewis Dunk. And Dunk goes for a long quarterback sort of launched ball, which picks out a Dingra. What a pass from Lewis Dunk into the penalty area. It goes on his left boot and he slams it a couple of feet wide. That was all about power, and in the end it just needed a bit more precision. Dangerous from Brighton, all set up by a glorious pass from Lewis Dunk.
And that's what Adingra wants, that quick ball. Great ball from Lewis Dunk, left to right, straight to the feet of Adingra, and he's in that quick 1v1 situation with Zinchenko. Cuts inside across the 18-yard box onto his left foot, but just shanks the shot wide, never troubling Raya in the end. But that quick ball, really important for Brighton, getting those wide players on the ball quickly, where they can kind of create those 1v1 situations.
0-0 on 5 Live. This is the 7th Premier League game being played today. Earlier on, victories for Manchester City in the lunchtime kickoff, for Everton, for Newcastle, Luton and West Ham all winning up and down the land in the Premier League today. Best of the action tonight. Match of the day, 10:30, Gary Lineker alongside Ian Wright and Dion Dublin. 17 minutes on the clock. Verbruggen clears it long. Welbeck with the flick on, and Cecil tries to get there, and Ben White beats him to it. White, who knows every blade of grass of this Amex pitch, and former Brighton player in the past. This is Saliba into Alexander Zinchenko. Zinchenko, who started against Luton on Wednesday as well. That was his 50th appearance for Arsenal. He's kept his place in the team tonight. Kivior has been playing quite regularly at left back in recent weeks. Zinchenko up towards his former Manchester City colleague Gabriel Jesus. Loses out, does he to Baleba. Rice is in to help for Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus hustles and gets it back again. Pushes the ball in front of Kai Havertz, and Dunk, cool as you like, so calm, no lunge, just nips in and flicks the ball away from Kai Havertz. Lewis Dunk has had a good start to this game with 18 minutes played and still Brighton 0, Arsenal 0.
Just had a lot of bodies, Brighton, in that central area where they're able to kind of nullify that Arsenal attack in the end. Havertz just looking to skip in behind those 2 Brighton centre-backs, but Lewis Dunk doing a really good job stepping in.
Saka wide on the right-hand side for Arsenal, gives it to Odegaard. White on the overlap, and he's challenged by Estupinian, and it's inside the penalty area. But just for a moment, if Brighton were concerned about a penalty, it's actually the other way. It's a foul by White on Estupinian, and that will be a free kick to Brighton, and they hope to relieve some pressure here.
Yeah, did a really good job of just reading the run. We know Odegaard likes to get on the ball in around the 18-yard box and just play those clever passes in between full-backs and centre-backs, and Estupinian just reading the intentions of Odegaard coming across and just drawing the foul off Ben White there.
Extremely busy day of live sport tomorrow on 5 Live. If you're up early, 05:45, you can listen to the Japanese Grand Prix. Max Verstappen looking to get back to winning ways. At noon, it's the Old Firm derby, Rangers against Celtic. And there are 3 Premier League games tomorrow. They're all of them unusual kickoff times for a Sunday. Manchester United against Liverpool is at 3:30. You can listen to that game on 5 Live. That's followed at 5:30 Sunday by Sheffield United against Chelsea. And there's also an evening game, Tottenham against Nottingham Forest tomorrow on a Sunday night as well. And Enciso is on the deck. He's saying he didn't commit a foul. The referee, John Brooks, disagrees. Free kick to Arsenal, 15 yards inside Brighton territory. It is still 0-0 here.
I didn't think there was too much in that. Good battle between him, Bukayo Saka in that midfield area, and he's just looking to get the other side of Saka. He lunges in with his right leg and actually wins the ball. It was pretty 50-50 for me.
Arsenal have scored more headed goals this season than any other team. So many of them have come from set pieces. Odegaard is standing over this one. Havertz has made a run. This looks a rehearsed move. It's played to Kai Havertz. He's just about been tracked by Estupiñán. Clever move that by Arsenal. Haven't seen that routine before. Odegaard shoots low, deflects off the feet of a defender and out for an Arsenal corner.
Just switches off. Estupiñán in that left back area. Havertz making the run inside of him. You have to be so aware when Arsenal have set pieces. So much variety to them. Do a lot of work on the training ground, and Brian just able to get enough bodies back in the end to kind of see that attack out.
So all hands on deck for Brighton. Everyone back inside the penalty area to defend this corner. 0-0 at the Amex. Saka to take it for title chasing Arsenal. He raises his right hand as a signal. Here he comes, short run up, in swinging delivery. Goalkeeper stayed on his line. It was Gabriel who was closest to it, and he claims he's been pulled by a defender there. The referee, John Brooks, says no. He says that is a goal kick. And obviously VAR will look at everything in the background. Rob Jones, assisted by Simon Long, watching these images back at Stockley Park this evening.
There is a tug on the shirt. Pascal Gross, he gets caught the wrong side. He's marking Gabriel on that far post. Gets inside of him, and there is a tug of the shirt, but maybe not enough, Conor.
The experience, we're lucky enough to go and see so many games every season, Daddy. It seems to be this season, if you hold the shirt but you let go, you always get away with it. It's if you hold it and you continue that grab.
If he doesn't tug his shirt though, he's probably going to connect with the ball there. That's why Gabriel actually misses the ball.
Absolutely. It's one of those, it's infuriating when it's given against you, and mighty relieving for Brighton that nothing went wrong there. This is White, 20 yards inside his own half. Arsenal playing right to left as we look down. Brighton have sent a few subs to warm up. Saliba has possession with the white boots on the right hand side of the Arsenal defence, and he takes no chances, turns, gives it back to Jorginho, who in turn rolls it back to the goalkeeper David Raya. Raya with 11 Premier League clean sheets this season. Arsenal is a team of 13, but no goalkeepers more this campaign than David Raya. Here comes Declan Rice trying to take them all on, and that's not a wise tactic against Brighton. He's very fortunate not to have lost the ball there. He tried to go in between Adringa and Moder and Baleba, and he was very fortunate not to lose the ball. Jorginho has it on the halfway line. 0-0. Gabriel pops one over the top for Zinchenko to go and chase after. Brighton claiming Zinchenko's offside. Ball goes out of play anyway. I just glanced over towards the assistant on the far side, Dan Rabbathan. He didn't raise his flag. So it will be a throw into Brighton, tight in by the corner flag that they defend. Right full-back position, and for Tariq Lamptey. Lamptey, who's only ever scored 2 goals for Brighton in all competitions. One of them did come against Arsenal. He's trying to get it back off Pascal Gross here. There's a hunger about Gabriel Jesus tonight. He wins the ball. Van Hecke then gets his laces through it, clears up towards the halfway line. Saliba tries to return it. Baleba collects for Brighton. There's a lovely flick by Welbeck. Foul late on Baleba by Jorginho, but the referee waves play on. And then a disappointing cross at Dingra, who had Welbeck in some space in the centre, cannoned it in too close to the goalkeeper. That needed a more delicate delivery.
Certainly did. Brilliant football from Brighton though. Fantastic counter-attack led by Baleba. Ball into Welbeck, a little flick off. Then he continues his run. Adringa on this right-hand side. He's just trying to play Welbeck back in, who's in on goal. Doesn't quite get it right. Too much purchase on the through ball, but brilliant football.
0-0 at the Amex. We have reached the midway point of the first half. Saka cushions a header on the edge of the penalty area that Arsenal are attacking. It comes back to him off his Estupiñán. It just wouldn't sit up for Odegaard. And Enciso clears it away out of the penalty area. But no doubt that Arsenal are applying most of the pressure at the moment. White tries to send the pass forward, cut out by Estupiñán. Saka comes in to put pressure on him. Very competitive this game. No one gets time on the ball. Moder inside the centre circle. lofts it through the air to the near touchline to Adingra. Lamptey's available outside of him. Arsenal quickly dragging bodies back into defensive positions. This is Baleba, midway inside Arsenal territory, infield to Pascal Gross. Brighton pushing very high up. Duncan, Van Hecke, even they are a good 10-15 yards inside the Arsenal territory. Van Hecke has it here in a central location. Both coaches, both wearing all black, stand and look on from the very edge of their technical areas. Dunk gives it to Estupinian on the left-hand side. No real high press from Arsenal here. They're happy for Brighton to have it in the central third. Van Hecke with the blonde hair comes forward. He threads a lovely ball through to Welbeck, and this is Lamptey, and Zinchenko's got to be careful, and out comes Raya. Lamptey wants a penalty. I doubt if he'll get it. The referee points towards a goal kick. VAR, of course, will look. Lamptey struggling with Zinchenko, leaning shoulder to shoulder into each other. I think the biggest question here is about Raya, who comes out and makes the challenge, but no, Lamptey surely slipped down. He was already going down. What do you make of it?
I don't think it was. It's a collision between goalkeeper and Lamptey, but brilliant football from Brighton again. Van Hecke, Ivan Needle passing to Welbeck, and then Lamptey's making the run in behind Zinchenko. He just about does enough. He just gets his body into him to make it difficult. Raya comes out, and they both kind of get there at the same time. The ball almost kind of comes off Lamptey's knee, and there's a collision. I'm sure they'll have a look at it, but I don't think it was, Conor.
No, I think he was, because he was leaning into Zinchenko, who hadn't fouled him. He was off balance. His feet gave way. He was on the way down, and then the goalkeeper collided into him. And in those situations, the video system referees tend to not give penalties, and that is what has transpired here. Check complete. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds at the Amex. This tea time game, the big importance at the top of the table, but very important for Brighton too, of course, as they hold on to a hope of getting back into Europe. This season has been Brighton's first European campaign. They want to go back. That looked like a handball there from Moder. He went in to close down Raya. His arms were outstretched as Raya kicked it away. It seemed to come off the arm of the pole, but the referee says play on. Welbeck tries to cushion a ball for Enciso. White, very composed, spins away from him. Arsenal have it just on the edge of their own penalty area. Jorginho back to Saliba. Pressure from Baleba. Saliba gets it away up towards Saka. Arsenal still inside their own half. And Brighton temporarily playing with 10 men here because Tariq Lamptey is a problem, and he's sitting down near the halfway line. Eventually the ball goes out of play on the far side, and the referee invites some treatment to come on for Tariq Lamptey.
The game's being played at a frantic pace. Both teams really aggressive out of possession as well. Both teams been very good in possession, but Brighton there looking to press high, harrying the likes of Saliba on the ball, trying to force those mistakes. Lamptey just going down off the ball, just looks like that left ankle. Not sure if it was in that previous collision there with goalkeeper David Raya as he looked to get the other side of Zinchenko, but great intensity to this game from both sides.
Earlier on today, Manchester City beat Crystal Palace by 4-2. 2 goals from Kevin De Bruyne. Erling Haaland back in the goals as well. Both those players who were left out of the game in midweek against Aston Villa, but returning to score for Pep Guardiola today. Villa themselves held to a 3-3 draw by Brentford. Another 2 goals for Ollie Watkins. Aston Villa 3, Brentford 3. Very important win for Burnley. Sean Dyche winning against his old... for Everton. For Sean Dyche against his old team, Burnley. Burnley finished with 10 men. Calvert-Lewin's goal just before half-time saw that one finish. Everton 1, Burnley 0. Newcastle 1 away from home. A Bruno Guimaraes goal late on. Saw it finish. Fulham 0, Newcastle 1 at Craven Cottage. And a big win for Luton 2. Luton 2, Bournemouth 1. Clark and Morris with the goal. Morris getting the winner in the 90th minute. There was much consternation about that, and you can see all the drama on Match of the Day later on this evening. Wolves were beaten at home at Molineux. It finished Wolves 1, West Ham 2. Lucas Paqueta and James Ward-Prowse with the goals there. So, as it stands in the Premier League, Liverpool are top of the table. Manchester City in second. Arsenal, if this was to finish in a draw, would stay in third with, after this evening, just 7 games to play. Play is back underway. Lamptey has had treatment. He wants to come back on, but he's not been invited to do so yet. Arsenal have possession, playing from right to left as we look down. Jorginho feeds it to Zinchenko on the left-hand side. Just for the moment, Adingra's had to drop back as a makeshift right back. Now Lamptey's been invited back on. Declan Rice in the penalty area, gives it to Jorginho. Nice little shimmy in there. And then as he clears the ball away, there's been a foul. A foul on Adingra, who went down very dramatically, and a free kick has been given to Brighton inside their own penalty area.
Well, I think what both teams do this evening in terms of what they're doing out of possession is going to be just as important as what they do with the ball on that occasion there. Brighton sat deep, they're almost in a back six there, looking to make things really compact, nullify those spaces. In the end, Arsenal looking to go for a central area, and they're able to draw the foul, Brighton.
If you're just showing our coverage, both teams have had good chances here in the opening half an hour at the Amex. Pascal Gross plays the ball down the left wing for Enciso to canter after, but Ben White had a head start on him, and the Arsenal right back comfortably gets there first. Gabriel brings it out of the penalty area, short to Zinchenko on the left-hand side. He'll turn with no easy pass forward and give it back to the goalkeeper, David Raya, who then plots a pass through the midfield and picks out Odegaard. Norwegian gives it on to Ben White, directly in front of us, and exasperated Roberto De Zerbi there, who doesn't like how easy Arsenal were able to play through the Brighton press there. Great Italian gesticulation from De Zerbi there to show he was unhappy. As Gabriel Jesus has it on the edge of the penalty area, gives it to Jorginho, back out to the left-hand side to Zinchenko. Zinchenko will creep in field. This is all close touch triangular passing from Arsenal, edge of the box left-hand side. Zinchenko now plays it into a more central area to Saliba, and Brighton have everyone back behind the ball. De Zerbi's way out of his penalty area here, drilling on the instructions to his team. Wants to keep up this intensity that has been causing Arsenal problems at times. Ball from Gabriel to the left wing, picks out Gabriel Jesus. He steps into the penalty area and goes down, but it was a clean tackle. Whoa! Referee's pointed to the spot. I thought that was a clean tackle from Tariq Lamptey. John Brooks has pointed to the penalty area, and Gabriel Jesus has won a penalty for his team here. That could be a big, big deal in the title race. Into the penalty area. Lamptey came out towards him, and down goes Gabriel Jesus. Penalty!
Well, does he get anything on the ball? Just looking at the replay, I think maybe that left foot just makes contact with the ball. Jesus picks the ball up on the left-hand side, driving at Lamptey, who wants to make the challenge. I'm thinking just hold him up there, but as he looks to dart inside of him, just sticks that left leg out. Does he get something on the ball there, and then the contact after?
Tariq Lamptey, who'd been off receiving treatment a few minutes ago. It was great acceleration for Gabriel Jesus. He really pounced into the penalty area and then tried to skip around Lamptey, who gets a little glance at the ball and then, no doubt about it, does follow through into Gabriel Jesus and trips him up. And that's why John Brooks has pointed to the spot. VAR still analysing it in the background. These are big moments, not just in this game, but in the title race. Odegaard has the ball. He's ready to go. Now he's handed it to Bukayo Saka. Brighton 0, Arsenal 0. We've got just over 10 minutes of normal time to play in the first half. And Bukayo Saka has the opportunity to put his team in front here. Arsenal, who have scored every penalty they have taken this season. The last one they missed was this month last year, and it was Bukayo Saka against West Ham. Here he faces up to Verbruggen, and he scores! Bukayo Saka puts the Brighton goalkeeper the wrong way, and in this tight first half of the Amex, it's Arsenal who draw first blood. Saka's goal again. His 14th in the Premier League this season. It is now the best scoring top-flight campaign of his career.
It's a big, big goal for Arsenal. He doesn't miss many, Saka, does he? Sends the keeper the wrong way. Just opens that left foot out, right into the side netting. Brilliant execution. Lamptey has to do better, has to hold Jesus up. He doesn't, he dives in, gives the penalty away. It's a brilliant one, it really is. Big, big goal for Arsenal in this game.
It is a first goal in 5 games in all competitions for Bukayo Saka. It is a sliding celebration towards the corner flag. Arsenal, who are well aware that their title challenge petered out around about this time last season, and they do not want that to happen again. Brighton Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 1. As things stand, Arsenal are moving back to the top of the Premier League tonight, but a long way to go here.
Yeah, but in terms of chances, they've been the better of the two teams. Arsenal really have. Lamptey there in that situation, his decision making, he's just got to hold Jesus up there. He's running at him, which is really difficult. He gets caught in that 1v1 situation. He's just got to try and jockey him as he cuts inside, make it difficult for him, but decides to stick that left boot out, thinks he can win the ball, and doesn't.
Here's a chance of a counter-attack for Brighton as Stupinian has picked out a Dingra. Into the penalty area he goes, dances his way around Zinchenko and then shoots, and it actually hits his own teammate. That's unfortunate for Brighton. Welbeck, who was running ahead of him, blocks the shot as the free kick is awarded here for the home side, and it is about midway between the centre circle and the penalty area that Arsenal defend. Free kick for Brighton, 1-0, they trail on 5 Live.
Both teams looking dangerous when able to get the ball quickly into wide areas, so that makes it very difficult to kind of get that cover across and double up on the wide players, and that's where the Arsenal goal came from. Quick ball out to Jesus to create that 1v1 situation. Brighton trying to do something similar, getting the ball out to a Dingra, trying to get Zinchenko into a 1v1 situation. Dingra hasn't really done anything as of yet though with the ball that he's got.
So Pascal Gross will take the free kick. It's not a shooting position. Mike Uriah just wants Jorginho to stand as a one-man wall anyway, just in case. Gross has got all his teammates to his left as he looks. Yellow boots on for the German. Here he comes, one-step run-up, plays it into the penalty area. Dunk was the target of the back post, and Gabriel beat him, and it goes out for a Brighton throw on the far side. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Saka's penalty. Brighton, who 3 times this season have come back to win Premier League games after conceding the opening goal, but this is going to be difficult now against a side as accomplished as Arsenal. An Arsenal team still unbeaten in the Premier League in 2024. Saliba with an interception for the visitors. A chest down by Odegaard to Saka, who tries to step over, but his Stupinian wasn't buying that. Crunches in, ball goes out for a throw into Arsenal on the far side.
They're just a really well-done machine, this Arsenal team. We know what they're capable of doing, the attacking players that they have, but this season defensively absolutely magnificent, and it was good delivery from Gross on a free kick into that far post area, but Arsenal head on it. They defend their 18-yard box ever so well.
This is Saliba at the heart of the Arsenal defence. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. The Saka penalty coming in the 33rd minute. Odegaard has possession 10 yards inside Brighton territory, gives it back to Saliba on the halfway line. Arsenal, who do tend to walk taller once they have scored the first goal in the game. White attacks down the right as well to get to the byline, and then Dunk has collided with Van Hecke. The 2 Brighton defenders hit the deck, but they get it out for a corner. Kai Havertz was in between them, and somehow Duncan Van Hecke were able to shovel it away.
Yeah, really dangerous ball from Ben White. He makes that run in behind Estepinian, and it looks like the ball's going to go out, but he gets there and he whips a really dangerous ball into that near post area. I think it's Van Hecke coming across. He does a good job in the end, just collides with Lewis Dunk.
Corner will be taken by Saka. This could be a big night for Arsenal. They would love a second goal ahead of half-time. Havertz has made a darting run from the back post to the front. It's curled into a central area. 2-fisted punch by the goalkeeper for Verbruggen. And then an attempt to win it by Baleb on the edge of the box. And a challenge on him results in a free kick to Brighton and a chance to relieve some pressure. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal, who drew 0-0 against Manchester City last weekend. Otherwise they have won every other Premier League game they have played in since the turn of the year. Saliba, short touch to Jorginho, who stabs it all the way back to Raya, wearing all black, away to our right hand side. His short ball to Gabriel, low to the feet here of Declan Rice, who's got 2 around him. Baleba makes the challenge, but he is over vigorous there, and Baleba fouls Rice. Free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, a little bit over aggressive there, Baleba, because that ball comes into Declan Rice. His touch kind of skips up, so doesn't really need to be that aggressive, make the challenge. Just looking at this penalty again. Difficult for us to see on the angle on the monitor. Does it just slightly come off Lamptey's? It looks like it hits his left boot, and then the contact kind of comes immediately after. On to debate, Conor.
In the old days, we would have said we would have we would have said he gets the ball first.
Yeah.
I mean, that used to be a really prominent expression of football, but that's not the rule anymore. You can get the ball first and still be deemed to be, for example, you could get a red card after getting the ball first. You could be reckless. You can still make a foul despite getting the ball first, but it is in that charcoal grey area. And of course, when the stakes are as high as they are, that one will, of course, as is the modern world, be hotly debated.
You've got to be so careful these days as a defender. You really have. When players are running at you in the 18-yard box, you've got to be absolutely sure. If you're going to step in and make the challenge, you've got to be absolutely sure that you're going to win the ball. Because as you say, Conor, even if you win the ball these days and you go in over aggressively and hit the man after, can still be given as a penalty.
And that is what was impressive about the Gabriel surge. The fact that he came in with such pace into the penalty area is what forced the collision in the first place, and he's so good at that. I think over the past few years, Sterling, Jamie Vardy and Gabriel Jesus, they've been the three players who've won the most penalties in the Premier League. As Estupiñán comes in the attack down the left-hand side for Brighton, could they get back on level terms by half-time? Gabriel has hurt himself winning possession here on the edge of the Arsenal box, and Saka anywhere will do as he clears it away into the crowd on the far side. And Gabriel goes down, and he needs some treatment.
I think it's something that we don't see enough from wide players these days. Being direct, getting in those 1v1 situations and looking to take your full back on. You see a lot of wide players now where they want to play 1-2s, they want to come inside and link. Really positive from Jesus there. Go straight at Lamptey and almost forces the decision from him.
And a break in play here while Gabriel receives some treatment. There are 4 minutes remaining of normal time in the first half. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. This is 5 Live from the BBC. With England playing the Euro 2025 qualifiers this weekend, make sure to subscribe to the Women's Football Weekly. New episodes every Wednesday. Plenty of behind-the-scenes footage too from St George's Park on our Instagram page. You can follow at 5 Live Sport. And for those of you wondering who to captain for the next game week, Fantasy 606 is the answers. Ali Bruce Ball, Chris Sutton and David O'Brien with all things Fantasy Premier League. That's available every week on BBC Sounds. Still Gabriel receiving treatment, but the game's coming thick and fast now, and with that back four, particularly the right back and the two central defenders being so consistent, Mikel Arteta wouldn't want this to be anything of too much concern for Gabriel, who had an early chance to open the scoring here. He put his header wide after doing really well to get in ahead of the goalkeeper, and he's been a busy defender ever since. It's the penalty from Bukayo Saka that separates the teams. Gabriel is back up on his feet. He is walking off. You would guess he's going to be okay.
It looks like he's going to be okay. That partnership with Saliba and Gabriel so important. Has transformed this Arsenal team. For me, it's allowed them to push a lot higher at the pitch, hold a higher defensive line. The fullbacks can kind of push on. They can defend kind of 2v1, 2v2 with the athleticism that they have. So some really important players in this Arsenal team, and that kind of centre-back pairing is one of them. Yeah,
no coincidence last year when the title charge came off the rails for Arsenal that it was when Saliba got injured and that partnership was disrupted. Here is Lewis Dunk in possession for Brighton, well up over the halfway line. Such a high press. I mean, the risk they play with the speed that Arsenal have in the counter-attack, but Brighton do it. Here is Enciso, twisting and turning on the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. Swings in, a great shot! Saved by David Raya, who did so well to leap and to hang in the air and to push it away. We know Enciso could hit them to the top corner. That was a fine strike. He's not the tallest goalkeeper, David Raya, but he had some spring in his heels there.
Yeah, he does have fantastic athleticism. He's on the full stretch there. Really good save. First time Raya's been called into action. Great play from Enciso, twisting, turning, looking to find that far corner.
Corner comes in from Gross, headed down by Van Hecke. Welbeck's going to sprint out to try and keep the ball in play, but Arsenal all ran out as the corner came in, and when Van Hecke headed it down, Danny Welbeck was in an offside position. That's a well-worked defensive set-piece manoeuvre there from Arsenal. Gabriel is on, but he is still hobbling a little bit. on the edge of his own penalty area. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, better from Brighton though. They've had some threatening moments in this first half, but not enough end product. They've not worked David Raya enough. They do there. That's what he's capable of. And see, so twisting, turning on that left-hand side of the 18-yard box. He creates that half a yard to get the strike away, looking to curl it into that far corner. It is finding the far corner, needed to be saved.
Ball goes out of play on the far side, throw into Arsenal. Brighton started this game very well. They just had a good chance from Enciso, but in the main, it has been Arsenal who've been controlling matters, and they lead by that Bukayo Saka penalty to 0. Saliba near the centre circle, goes around Danny Welbeck, plays a pass out to the right-hand side to Ben White again. De Zerbi's upset, doesn't like when Arsenal defenders are able to go past his pressing players. In the end, White's cross is harmless, goes straight to the Brighton goalkeeper.
Yeah, so comfortable, Saliba, when he steps into those midfield areas. Really is the full package. Defensively very good. We know what an athlete he is, but so calm on the ball as well. Quite happy to kind of step into bodies into midfield there and to start that Arsenal attack off.
Into stoppage as we go. There's been a few delays, injuries, and the penalty and the VAR and all that, and there will be 7 minutes to be added. Zinchenko has possession for Arsenal just in front of us. Brings it over the halfway line. Plays a 1-2 with Gabriel Jesus. Back in field again to Declan Rice. Declan Rice, who captained England last week against Belgium. Odegaard receives on the halfway line and sprints away from Enciso. Rolls it to the feet of Bukayo Saka, into the penalty area that Arsenal attack. Enciso, who's done some great defensive work, gets back, gets right in the face of Bukayo Saka and forces him to retreat, and Arsenal back to the centre circle once again. Been really impressed with Enciso's defensive contribution in this first half. Here's Ben White though, just outside the penalty area on the right for Arsenal. Tries to flick it forward, takes a deflection. Brighton want to keep it in play, a little bit dangerous, but Verbruggen hacks it out towards the sideline. Enciso tries to keep it in play, and it goes for a throw, and Arsenal take the throw quickly, trying to increase the acceleration. Good work by Pascal Gross, and that's another throw into the visitors. Arsenal still lead 1-0.
And thoroughly deserved, Conor, you'd have to say, on the chances created. They've had the better the chances of the two teams. And they do look threatening every time they're able to kind of get Odegaard in those little pockets of space, and he's getting turned, and Cecil's having to do a lot of kind of defensive work, getting back into that area.
Oh, a mistake at the back for Brighton, and Kai Havertz should have scored. It was a throw-in that bounced in the penalty area. Goalkeeper and defender seemed to leave it to each other, and a hesitation that was almost fatal. Havertz stabbed the ball goalbound, but he couldn't get it anywhere near on target. Another big chance for Arsenal, and I don't think it's any exaggeration to say they could be 3-4 up in this game, Mikel Arteta's team. As Rice tries to cut in, a low cross on the left-hand side. Lamptey has failed to clear it away. Declan Rice gets another opportunity, and he gives it short to Zinchenko, just outside the penalty area. Runs into the box. Gabriel Jesus to Saka, so intricate from Arsenal. Tries to get the shot in. Van Hecke makes the block, and then Adingro's back to help out the defence, and he steals it away from Gabriel Jesus, and he swerves around Zinchenko, but then after doing it all so well, he plays a terrible pass straight to Gabriel, so Arsenal come again. Arsenal leading 1-0 at the Amex. Ball goes out of play. They're all appealing that the throw-in should be theirs, and Brighton get the throw-in. Well, there's certainly plenty of spirit left from the hosts, and Arsenal may be in front, but this isn't over yet.
It's just half a chance for Havertz. It's a difficult one for him. He's got the keeper right in front of him. It's a long throw into the box. Havertz makes the run. Lewis Dunk is just looking for his goalkeeper to come and collect, but that was never going to be the case. He needs to deal with that, and he gets bullied out of the way by Havertz, and he just doesn't really have anywhere to go with the finish. Havertz, he's trying to prod it past the goalie, doesn't get it on target in the end, but just switching off there from the throw-in.
This game where if either team is in their own third, they might get a second or two on the ball, but inside the central third, you do not have a chance to breathe down there. The tackles come flying in. Neither team wants the other to have control of that central part of the pitch. Here's Welbeck rolling it back to Jakob Moder. Moder, who celebrates his birthday tomorrow, turns 25. Tarek Lamptey gives it infield to Jan-Paul Van Hecke. They give it out to Lewis Dunk on the far side, back to Van Hecke once again. We have played 3.5 of the 7 minutes being added on for stoppages, so we're midway through. Dunk, good ball to Pascal Gross over the halfway line. He'll push it on to Enciso, running in off the touchline towards the corner angle of the penalty area. White backpedaling away from him. Enciso sends in a low cross. Saliba is very calm and relaxed on the edge of the 6-yard box. Takes a succession of touches before passing it away. And this is what Arsenal love to do, to play through a press. And this is why, because it creates the counter-attack opportunity. Gabriel Jesus to Odegaard, bearing down on the Brighton penalty area. Now Havertz in the box, tries to pull it back. Declan Rice was ready for the tap in, but Brighton are able to get it away. But that was wonderful to watch from Arsenal. Challenge on the far side. White went in hard on Enciso. Referee says play on, no foul. Brighton fans didn't like that. Saka gives it back to White. They all think he's offside. Cross comes in. Declan Rice just outside the 6-yard box. Belatedly, the flag goes up, to much consternation from tens of thousands of Brighton fans who could see that was offside at the moment it happened, but the officials are told to wait. And eventually it goes up, and it is a free kick to Brighton, who trail here by 1-0.
Yeah, Brighton delighted to see that linesman's flag go up. What a goal that would have been, by the way. Unacceptable play from Saliba in his own box. The composure shown there, under pressure, bodies around him, and Arsenal are able to play their way out, and they go right up the other end and almost score. Desperate defending from Brighton in the end.
It's something we've seen such a sea change in recent years, how central defenders who it was drilled into them, if in the edge of your own 6-yard box, you just get rid of it. And now they will take touch, they will swerve, they'll sell dummies, they'll even try nutmegs. I mean, it is unbelievable inside your own penalty area 6-yard box. But the reason is, if you can break through, it creates so much space down the other end.
You almost saw the perfect example there, Conor.
Mistake at the back by Baleba, giving the ball away to Odegaard, who's into the penalty area for Arsenal. Welbeck is back helping out the defence and did some good work there. I think Brighton could do with the half-time whistle here. They need a breather. Saka into the penalty area. Low cross. Van Hecke cuts it out, and Dunk should be able to clear away. But again, he was to dribble his way out, and he gives it short to Estupiñán. And Odegaard is going to try and pen them in there. Brighton have lost it. That was bound to happen. Odegaard has it just outside the box now, into the penalty area to Declan Rice. Arsenal would love a second by the break. Saka tried to return it. It's so intricate in there. It's like five-a-side in a contained space, and the ball eventually is pinged out of the penalty area, and Brighton trying to work their way out. And this is one for the purists of possession football. These sides never want to just clear it away long.
They certainly don't, but I've got to say, the out-of-possession work is fantastic as well. Arsenal there pressing high, making it really difficult for Brighton to get out. We know how good they are in possession. They can make you look silly at times if you get the press wrong, but Arsenal forcing mistakes.
Here comes Moder over the halfway line. Declan Rice puffing, trying to keep up with him. Adingra towards the edge of the penalty area has got Tariq Lamptey back behind. A ball into the penalty area. Moder's offside. He knew he was. The body language, as soon as the ball came to him, he knew he was off. And that is a free kick to Arsenal. You mentioned a very good point there, Danny, about how well the pressing has been as the whistle goes to the break. These are two teams who know the value of possession, and that's why they will work so hard to deny the other. One goal separates them at the break, a penalty scored by Bukayo Saka, won by Gabriel Jesus' thrust into the penalty area. Saka took it so well, and Arsenal, as things stand, Danny, heading back to the top of the Premier League tonight.
Yeah, really important goal for Arsenal. What a first half we've seen. The energy, the pace, the intensity that both teams have played with. You have to say Arsenal deserve it of their lead. They've created the better chances in that first half. Gabriel should have scored. Jesus had a header. And then obviously the mistake from Lamptey, the foul on Jesus, and cool composure shown from the spot by Bukayo Saka. They've had their moments, Brighton. They've looked threatening when they've got around the 18-yard box of Arsenal's, but not enough end product. Arsenal going 1-0 up and thoroughly deserved.
Boost for referee John Brooks as he makes his way down into the tunnel. That's been the big talking point. Lamptey, who got a touch of the ball but then brought down Gabriel Jesus. Every penalty so hotly disputed these days. It is Brighton 0, Arsenal 1 at half-time.
Second half on the way. Elsewhere in the Premier League today, Crystal Palace 2, Manchester City 4, Aston Villa 3, Brentford 3, Everton beat 10-man Burnley 1-0, Newcastle won 1-0 at Fulham, Luton came from a goal down to beat Bournemouth 2-1, and West Ham did the same as they won 2-1 at Molineux, with a controversial Max Kilman equaliser ruled out in the 99th minute by VAR. You'll hear from Gary O'Neill during half-time. Elsewhere, Ipswich and Leeds both lost in the Championship, so Leicester go top after they beat Birmingham, and Birmingham have now dropped into the bottom three because Huddersfield beat Millwall. Another side in the bottom three, Sheffield Wednesday, got a big win at QPR. Portsmouth have an 8-point lead at the top of League One after they beat Shrewsbury. Carlisle's relegation was confirmed today as they were beaten at Northampton. In League Two, Stockport stay top. Wrexham went second, MK Dons third, because Mansfield dropped to fourth out of the automatic promotion spots after losing 4-1 to Crawley, at home to Crawley as well. One promotion sorted in the Scottish League, and that's in Scottish League 2. Stenhousemuir will play in League 1 next season. European Champions Cup Rugby Union this weekend. Earlier on today, wins for Bulls over Lyon, Exeter over Bath, and La Rochelle against Stormers after they came from 13-0 down at half-time to win by 22 points to 21. And Saracens will need a second-half comeback as well. James Burridge.
They will, because Bordeaux are 10 points to 0 up at half-time mark. It's taken a while for Bordeaux to get on the score sheet. 36 minutes, in fact. Garcia with a try in the corner. Maxime Lucu has knocked over 2 kicks at goal. All because Mara Itoje has been sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. A deliberate knock-on when Bordeaux had a chance to score. They've actually had 3 tries ruled out. They have boss possession and territory. And in truth, Saracens have failed to fire a shot. Mark McCall's going to have to deliver a pretty seismic team talk if they're to get back in this contest. Bordeaux leading at half-time by 10 points to 0.
Leinster against Leicester is an 8 o'clock kickoff in the same tournament. So during half-time at the Amex, you'll hear from Rob Edwards and Gary O'Neill, amongst others. First, Joe has the news, 26 minutes past 6.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The British company Ambre is reporting that a vessel has been targeted off Yemen. It follows a number of attacks on cargo ships in the region by Houthis. More on this breaking news in the next bulletin. The Israeli army has recovered the body of a hostage in Gaza during an overnight operation. He's been named as Ilad Katzir, who was 47. The military said he'd been kidnapped on October the 7th by Islamic Jihad. Thousands of households across Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland are without power because of high winds brought by Storm Kathleen. While flights and ferry crossings have been disrupted in western parts of the UK, the hottest temperature of the year so far has been recorded in eastern England. And 2 planes have collided at Heathrow Airport while one of them was being towed. Online videos show a Virgin Atlantic plane's wing touching a British Airways aircraft. There were no injuries.
BBC 5 Live,
the home of Formula One.
The third race of the season, and it wasn't a Max Verstappen win. A dramatic brake issue saw the Dutchman forced to retire from the race as Carlos Sainz, returning from appendix surgery, clinched the win around the Albert Park circuit.
It was a very good feeling to be back on form. Very happy, very proud.
Next up, Formula One heads to Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix.
Sunday morning at 6.
Listen to live coverage of every lap
on 5 Live
and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman
on 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Max Verstappen on pole for tomorrow morning's Japanese Grand Prix, which you can hear from 6 a.m. Full commentary here on 5 Live or on the BBC Sport website. A couple of cricket scores that you might want to know about. Today, Sam North East hit an individual record 335 not out at Lords for Glamorgan against Middlesex. That goes past Graham Gooch's 333, which he scored against India back in 1990. And in the IPL today, Virat Kohli hit 113 off 72 balls as RCB made 175 for 4 off 18 overs. Joss Butler has replied with I've lost his score now, but anyhow he was 80 or 40 if I can find it. But anyhow, I'll find the exact details of Joss's score in just a moment. Whilst I do that, let's get some football reaction. We'll go to Kenilworth Road. Luton coming from a goal down to beat Bournemouth 2-1. They're still in the drop zone, but only behind Nottingham Forest on goal difference. Here's Rob Edwards.
It's been really hard for us this season. Obviously, that's why we're in the situation we're in. But the character that we showed, we found the result today when it was really, really important to do so.
What was the key to turning it around? It certainly looked from an onlooker's point of view that when you sent on Onyedinma and Berry, it seemed to give you a new lease of life in attack.
I thought our second half performance was really good. I thought we were on the front foot when we conceded the goal. And I think my eyes and I think the stats have already shown me that as well, that the performance was there. But they scored, they got such a threat, good quality, they scored a good goal. Poor from our side, but there was a belief there. The subs definitely made an impact, you're right, 100%. I feel that we've had 1.5 really difficult games against Bournemouth this year for everyone, obvious reasons. Tom's situation the first time, and then to be 3-0 up and lose that game. So it is a nice feeling to be able to turn that around today and somehow grind out that win.
What does the Saturday night celebration look like for you? Glass of red and match of the day?
No, I'll probably start losing sleep over. We've got Man City away and we're next, so I'll just probably be up all night thinking, how do we stop them?
Rob Edwards after their win. Right, let's do that cricket again properly. Virat Kohli, 113 off 72 balls as RCB hit 183 for 3 in the IPL. And Jos Buttler, currently 91 not out off 55 balls as Rajasthan only need 9 off 10 balls to win that game. Back to the football. At Goodison, Burnley remain 19th after losing 1-0 to Everton. Darragh O'Shea given a red card in the second half. That's Burnley's 7th dismissal of the season. Here's Vincent Kompany.
Look, if you look at a game and you start a game and you look at what are the strengths of Everton, I definitely think we managed to limit the strengths of the opposition, and I think we managed to create a game out of it at Goodison Park. That's never easy. But yeah, key moments for us, it's this game, it's other games. Yeah, we've been penalised for it.
Whether it's errors or discipline, how disappointing, how damaging has that record been of 7 dismissals this season? Because it's just taken the wind out of your team and made it so much harder to get these even kind of points here and there.
Yeah, I mean, look, you are where you are in the league for a reason. So if the games are going in a way where we play well, where, most of the Premier League games we really make a fight out of it, so we get back and we feel like, okay, we can look confidently to the next game because we've shown good things in this game. But there's a willingness for us to work to improve.
6 games left. Do you think you can get enough wins to stay up, or do you think realistically you did need to get the 3 points today?
No, I just keep it really simple in my head. I mean, it's the last 6 games we played extremely well and we could have won those games, each and every one of them. And we didn't reward ourselves, so my hope is that in the next 6 games, whenever we play better than the opponent, that this is associated to a result, which is often the case.
James Ward-Prowse got West Ham's winner direct from a corner in the 84th minute at Molineux as they won by 2-1. However, Wolves denied an equaliser in the 9th minute of stoppage time. Max Kilman with the header, but VAR and the referee brought it back, deeming that Tawanda Chiroa, the substitute, was offside and interfering with Lucas Fabianski. Here's Gary O'Neill.
Terrible decision. Can't understand it at all. Spoke to David, and to be fair to David, he said the same. He said it's never ever offside. Fabianski the same. Didn't think it was offside. So yeah, crazy, really crazy that a Premier League referee can stand in front of a screen, having been sent to it, and get it so badly wrong. So the reason it's not offside, obviously he's stood in an offside position, but he's not impacted Fabianski being able to dive or move. He's not impacted his line of vision, because if you watch the side-on footage, Fabianski can clearly see the ball over Tawanda's head. So I don't know how he can be interfering. Fabianski is getting nowhere near that header, no matter if there's no one there, someone there. So I think it's a really, really bad decision, and I don't understand how he reaches it.
Have you had any explanation from any of the officials, and is there any way that you can understand how they would have come to that conclusion?
If your knowledge of the game is really, really bad, you can come to that conclusion. But apart from that, I have no explanation for it. No, and I haven't got an explanation from them, and it won't help us. You can see how the players sort of feel about it. The players have spoke earlier in the season around not feeling respected by the officials because of the number of decisions that went against us, and today again having, when we're as short as we are and we're having to fight and dig as much as we are to suffer that decision at that stage of the game was tough for the players to take.
Mark Scott with the questions to Gary O'Neill. You can see it for yourself. Match of the day, 10:30 tonight on BBC One. Aston Villa were 2-0 up at home to Brentford before Brentford then went 3-2 up with 3 goals inside 9 minutes. Ollie Watkins then got a late equaliser in the 80th minute. It was his second of the day. He's with John Bennett.
Ollie, must be mixed feelings for you because 2 goals, but after being 2-0 up, it must feel like points dropped. How would you sum up the game?
Frustrating. We just lack that kind of big team mentality where they kill games off, which is really disappointing. Obviously, I'm not belittling my team. I'm part of it, but I feel like we need to somehow figure out when we're 2-0 up how to just shut up shop and stop them from creating chances. Yeah, it's really disappointing.
But 2 more goals for you. What a season you are having, back from injury. You must be absolutely thrilled with the way it's going this season for you.
Yeah, it seems like it's dropping for me. It's just my luck that the first one went over the line. When you're having a drought or something like that, normally they don't go for you. But it's felt nicely for me. I'm happy about that. I'm happy to be contributing to the team, scoring, trying to do the best I can. But when I'm not scoring, I'm still trying to bring other people into play and cause nightmare for the defenders. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying my football. Still a lot of football to be played. We want to be getting in the Champions League spot. That's what we're playing for. So, 6 more games to go and a lot of football to be played.
Ollie Watkins with John Bennett, just waiting for the teams to come back out at the Amex, where it is Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Full second half commentary on the way, and then it will be 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Very much looking forward to it. Chris will be here. He's currently travelling. He's been at Ipswich versus Norwich today. So he's going to want to talk about that, I'm absolutely sure. So loads happening today. If you would like to call us, book your call in right now. It's 08085 909 693. Everton fans, Luton fans, big wins today. How hopeful are you of staying up? What did you make of the games today? I want to speak to you. Wolves fans, Gary O'Neill there, sounding very, very cross. A terrible decision. Do you agree with him? And also Villa and Brentford fans, what a game today. And also a very busy day in the Championship. Leicester fans, you must be feeling a lot better now. And also I want to speak to Leeds and Ipswich fans. What an exciting end to this Championship season we are having. So book your call in with myself and with Chris Sutton now. It's 08085 909 693.
Ipswich fans may want to respond to Chris's tweet. Superb result for Norwich City, who thoroughly deserved to win. Ipswich choke again in the derby. Chris's words, not ours. He's a wind-up merchant. And I'm guessing he'll be on his way to Ibrox as well for Rangers against Celtic tomorrow. It's like a God, if Celtic win that, he's going to be unbearable on Monday night. Thank you very much, Natalie. 08085 909 693. Teams coming back out at the Amex. Arsenal are a goal to the good, Danny and Conor.
Yes, thanks very much, Mark. We are getting ready to get back underway. Sorry, just a little delay here. We couldn't hear ourselves, which is a very important part of the whole operation. We're getting ready to welcome the teams back out onto the field at the Amex. Arsenal, who've got the lead, and that normally means one thing, because whenever this season Arsenal have been in front at half-time in the Premier League, they have always gone on to win it. You've got to go back 2 years for the last time that Arsenal were ahead of the break in a Premier League match but did not win the match. A lot of talk over half-time, Danny Gabbidon, about the decisive penalty of those first 45 minutes and whether Gabriel Jesus was indeed fouled by Tariq Lamptey, because Lamptey clearly does get a touch of the ball first, then makes the connection. It's a tricky one, and it's almost split. I mean, we've met people who are adamant both ways. What's your view on it now, having seen it a few more times?
I think it's you could say maybe it's a modern day penalty. I don't know, as you were saying on the commentary in the first half there, Conor, maybe back in the day, you win the ball, get the ball slightly first there, and you maybe get away with that. But you can see Lamptey there, he makes his mind up almost straight away. He sees Jesus get the ball. After his touch, he's thinking, right, I'm going to go and hit him and try and win the ball, almost catch him off guard. Jesus is ready for it. He cuts inside. There is a slight touch, I think, on his left boot, and then the contact comes in and he kind of takes him out. So I'd probably be a little bit disappointed. Maybe I'm part of the defenders union. I don't know, trying to defend Lamptey there, but I think he's just got to stand up there and make it difficult for him. The minute you kind of lunge in, if you're not sure, if you can't clearly win the ball, then you're always going to run the risk of giving a penalty away. And I'm still not too sure, Conor. I don't know what you think.
It's one of those. A few years ago, the defender would have pointed at the ball. I got the ball. I got the ball. But that's not the rule anymore. You can get the ball and still give away a penalty. Anyway, it has been given. It does stand. It is a goal that, at the moment, has Arsenal back on top of the Premier League again. This is the 20th time this season that the lead in the Premier League has switched, assuming they hold on for this, as a shot from Enciso to the edge of the area that goes through to David Raya, who makes the save. First chance of the second period, and it's for Brighton, how they would like to lay down a good marker now at the start of this second period. No changes in personnel, by the way, over the break. Same starting 11s that begun the game. I'll give you a full rundown of them once we get a break in play. Raya's clearance up towards Declan Rice. Jumping with him is the energetic Baleba. Baleba, another one of these very confident youngsters in the Brighton team. You sort of have to check that he only turned 20 in January, but he's a physical presence in that midfield, and he jumped with Declan Rice there and challenged for the ball well. So Verbruggen is the Brighton goalkeeper. Back four of Lamptey, Van Hecke, Dunk and Estupiñán, the two fullbacks coming into the team as changes from midweek. Then it's Enciso and Adringa either side of Baleba and Moder in midfield. Pascal Gross in there too, with Welbeck as the central striker. Gabriel Jesus hoping to get a corner here. Lamptey, has he been able to keep it in play? No. Referee says it had gone out before Lamptey brought it back in again. So 90 seconds into the second period, Arsenal their first attacking set piece of the second half.
It's going to be interesting to see if both teams can kind of keep up the pace of that first half. It really was played at high intensity. If it does maybe slow down the game or does open up, who will that better serve of the two teams? I'm not too sure. Maybe Arsenal, who are 1-0 in front. Brighton, they'll continue to play the same way, try and get a bit more end product this second half to try and get back into this game.
Declan Rice plays in the corner, and it was Gabriel arriving at the back post. Tariq Lamptey's been half as tall as Gabriel was marking him, but the Brazilian wasn't able to get a clean header, and Brighton were able to get it away. Mind you, did it glance an arm in there, and the referee John Brooks is delaying the restart from the throw-in while the video assistant referee has a look at this. Gabriel jumps, it hits the, I think, armpit at best of Tariq Lamptey, but no surprise that it's a quick check complete and no penalty awarded there. Arsenal have possession just on the edge of the penalty area of the attack. Saliba, silver boots, has a look up, who's around, gives it to the right hand side to Kai Havertz. To the byline he goes, Enciso's with him, Havertz floats it in, Gabriel Jesus hits just wide. Brilliant cross, brilliant leap from Gabriel Jesus, and he nearly found the back of the net with a header. That's flowing football from Arsenal.
Yeah, not the easiest of chances, but he should hit the target. Brilliant pick out from Havertz. He just floats it up to that far post. He gets the mismatch. Jesus up against Lamptey, gets above him, wins the header, but can't direct it on target.
Foul by Saliba on Danny Welbeck. Big roar from the Brighton fans. I think a bit of sarcasm laced in there. They feel they're not getting the rub of the green in the referee's decision making in this game. You know, if you were to be critical of Arsenal, it's been the quality of their finishing tonight. They scored from a penalty, otherwise they've not been able to get enough on target. Here comes Havertz into the penalty area, hits the deck. It was a shoulder charge from Baleba. It's no penalty. It is play on as Verbruggen has it in his hands. The Arsenal team, by the way, Raya the goalkeeper, back four, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko. Midfield three, Odegaard, Jorginho and Rice. Front three, Saka, Havertz and Gabriel Jesus. Danny Gabbidon's alongside me. And there's a mistake at the back. Van Hecke just about recovers because Kai Havertz was almost in.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, Arsenal, with that press. We saw moments in the first half where they pressed high, really aggressive, and Brighton just losing the ball in dangerous areas. They'll have to be better this second half if they're going to continue to play that way, which they will. Need to find a way of being a bit more assured in possession and looking to break through that Arsenal kind of midfield line. But Arsenal doing a really good job up until this point and making it difficult.
6:06 to come with Natalie Pike and Chris Sutton tonight. Once the live football has come to an end here on 5 Live. Enciso here plays the ball forward with Zinchenko, has missed on the edge of the area. And Adringa was arriving, and Zinchenko, who should have cleared that away, has had to put it out for a corner. Well, he looks bemused at the referee, but it was his own hesitation there. Alexander Zinchenko, where there should have been no problem. Now Arsenal have to defend a corner.
It's a ball played inside him. He's trying to control it with his right foot, Zinchenko. He misses it completely. Dingo gets in behind him, forces the corner. Silly mistake, really. Should have dealt with that better.
Pascal Gross to take the corner kick. Arsenal with everyone back inside the penalty area to defend it. 5 minutes played in the second period. 1-0 Arsenal. Header one at the front post by Gabriel. Comes to Estupinian, who tried to hit it full on the volley. Then he lashes it again the second time. I tell you, it was a good strike, but it just veered away from the target. Pervis Estupinian, I saw him score a great goal. I think it was against Tottenham here in December when he lashed it from distance. Now this is ridiculous. So Ben White has come over and said something to Estupinian there. Estupinian has raised his hand and he's pushed it in. No big force or anything, but he's just laid his hand on the chest of Ben White, and Ben White has gone down as if he's been hit by a truck, and he hits the ground, and that is way over dramatic from Ben White, trying to infuse a situation where there was nothing there. Estupinian had nudged into him as he run back, and then he just goes down as if he's been punched. That's not impressive, I don't think, from Ben White.
Yeah, well, how often do we see it happen these days, Conor, with players trying to get the opposition player sent off? He's just jogging back into position. Maybe something got said slightly before that as he got that shot away, and they kind of shoulder barge each other initially, and then his left arm kind of comes out of Estupinian, and it's nothing really, and it's almost 3 or 4 seconds then before Ben White decides to go down as well. Shocking, really. Yeah,
Ben White, that's what made it worse, was the delay. When he's I think I'll go down here, and I mean, embarrassing actually for Ben White, who's had a very good game. He's not covered himself in glory there. Now Gabriel's attempt to cross it away, blocked by Moder. Brighton's high press continues to make life difficult for us. It's been great the times when Arsenal can break through it, but there have been many times when Arsenal haven't been able to break through this Brighton press, and Zinchenko doesn't take any chances here. You rarely see that from an Arsenal player at the back, but he's just lumped it forward, long ball up towards the halfway line. Odegaard gets it down on the deck. Boos for Ben White after that bit of play acting a moment ago. Rice will give it over to Gabriel Jesus, just outside the penalty area, left wing for Arsenal. Odegaard's made a darting run in the middle. Gabriel Jesus unable to find him, and now Enciso comes away with possession, but runs into Jorginho. Loose ball picked up by Moder. His pass goes straight to Gabriel. The turnover of possession is so frantic here.
Brilliant from Arsenal there, though, just to stifle that counter-attack. Brighton winning the ball back on the edge of the 8-yard box and looking to counter quickly, but Gabriel just reading where that pass was going to go, steps in.
Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal going to the top of the table if they get the win here. Liverpool would be able to overtake them if they win at Old Trafford tomorrow. It's a 3:30 kickoff, and you can listen to the full game live here on 5 Live from the BBC. Jorginho gives it to Zinchenko on the far side. Ball back in field to Gabriel Jesus. He comes over the halfway line now, scanning the horizon, looking for options, plays a cam ball to Ben White. You'll tell by the boos. White gives it up to Bukayo Saka, scorer of Arsenal's goal here. Estupinian goes in field with him, and that's created space in the left-back position for Brighton for Kai Havertz to step into the penalty area. White's outside him. Havertz back to Martin Odegaard. Brighton need to get tight, and it just clips the crossbar on the way through. Fingertipped onto the crossbar by Verbruggen. Odegaard so close to a second goal for Arsenal.
Yeah, great strike on his weaker right foot. Shifts it onto that right foot. It's straight at the keeper. But it looks like it's dipping, it's moving a little bit, and that right arm goes up. It's a really good save.
Rapid movement from Odegaard to push it into space and to pull the trigger all in one motion. And Verbruggen, who's been beaten from the penalty spot but has dealt with everything else that's been thrown at him today. Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. 14 minutes played in the second half. In fact, sorry, I'm going to do that again. 9 minutes played in the second half. Saka going to take the corner. Odegaard available short, and it is played short. Odegaard back to Saka, to the edge of the box to Zinchenko. Scoops it for Saka, in the box, can he control? Pulls it in low, Gabriel Jesus turns and shoots it away by Pascal Gross. Arsenal are banging on the door for a second.
They certainly are, they look vulnerable, Brighton. Set piece they don't clear, really difficult to clear their 18-yard box, Brighton. It's a strike that gets blocked, and eventually Brighton able to clear, but as you say, Conor, knocking on the door, Arsenal trying to get this all-important second goal.
Gabriel at the back for Arsenal. Declan Rice in a left-back position, plays it into the midfield. Gabriel Jesus sold a dummy, hoping it would run through to Havertz, but Brighton regained possession. Then Enciso gives it away. Dunk wins it back. Just one team to the other, winning the ball off each other constantly. Enciso with tricky footwork. White fouls him, free kick Brighton. Big roar from the Brighton fans who are not happy with Ben White anyway in this second half. And it's a free kick that's outside shooting distance, but still a good attacking platform. Brighton 0, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, great feat, Enciso. He's got 3 or 4 Arsenal players around him, and he somehow twists, turns, goes past Jorginho, draws the foul. The ball changing hands there quickly on 2 or 3 occasions, but really good feat there from Enciso to draw the foul, because he had lots of players around him and limited options.
Fans of Manchester City and Liverpool listening our way will be urgent, praying for Brighton to get an equaliser here. Stupinian touches it for Pascal Gross. Not your usual free kick routine. They give it to Enciso on the left-hand side. Arsenal haven't stepped out. Enciso to the byline, tries to go around Saka. Saka challenges him out for a corner. Corner to Brighton as they continue to try and win momentum in this game.
I'll give it straight back to Enciso. I thought the ball might get whipped in directly, but they worked that 1v1 with Saka. Enciso, I just thought he created half a yard to cross the ball on his left foot. Elected to take an extra touch, trying to drive fully past Saka, who gets back. Good defensive work. Brighton forcing the corner.
Entertaining game of the Amex. You feel anything could happen at any moment. Arsenal have had a lot of big chances, but they haven't been able to add to Bukayo Saka's successful penalty. Pascal Gross to take the Brighton corner. There's all kinds of pushing in there, and the referee blows the whistle. Now that all happened before the corner kick was taken, so play not actually active, but there was a lot of pushing and shoving, and Lewis Dunk is the main player being spoken to by the referee, John Brooks. Take 2 at the corner. Pascal Gross is ready. It's going to be a right-footed kick. Brighton playing right to left in the second half. Again, there's all kinds of pushing. Header won by Ben White. Enciso on the volley, can't keep it down. Left foot volley over the crossbar into the Brighton fans behind that goal.
Yeah, difficult chance. Ball whipped into that near post area. It's an Arsenal man that makes the first contact. It's headed out to the 18-yard box, a looping header, and it just falls invitingly. Enciso on the volley, takes it on his weaker left foot. Difficult chance, not able to hit the target.
Brighton 0, Arsenal 1. Saka's penalty was scored after 33 minutes. Already today, there were wins for Manchester City in the lunchtime game at Selhurst Park. Everton beat Burnley, Newcastle won at Fulham, home win for Luton against Bournemouth, and West Ham won away at Wolves. You can discuss it all with Chris and Natalie on 606 once this game is over. Verbruggen comes out of his penalty area, gets there ahead of Saka, and puts the ball out of play for an Arsenal throw. Right-hand side as Mikel Arteta's team come forward. 58 minutes on the clock. Saliba has it for Arsenal. Back into a central location to Gabriel. He'll float it down the right wing. Estupinian's header cushions the ball back to the Brighton goalkeeper, Verbruggen.
Yeah, Estupinian stooping there, just nodding that ball back to the goalkeeper. Could have actually left that roll out for the goal kick, but got it right in the end.
Ernest Estupinian, who's had one of Brighton's better opportunities of this second half. He scored against Arsenal at the Emirates last season. It was a game that Brighton won by 3-0. White to Saka. Back to Saliba, into Jorginho, tackled by Gross. Now the run forward, Saliba the head start back there, and he plays it over into space, and what he hoped was space to Zinchenko on the far side, but there's no space in this game. Baleba sprinted well to get across, he slid to get a touch, then he tried to keep it in play, and he wasn't able to do so, but great work rate from Carlos Baleba. It will be an Arsenal throw, they still lead 1-0.
Yeah, just about gets away with that. Saliba looks to play a dangerous ball across field, could have gone back to his goalie. Baleba reading the intentions, slides in, gets the ball, but just not quite able to keep it in.
We are so close to the Brighton bench here, we're just a few rows behind them. You can smell the deep heat, and there is all sorts of activity down there as Roberto De Zerbi prepares to make at least one substitution. There's a lot of activity. Ansu Fati's having a word there. Let's see who does come on in. Presumably just a few minutes' time. Van Hecke has possession for Brighton. We're approaching the hour mark. 1-0 Arsenal lead. Kroos stretches but is beaten for it by Jorginho. That's excellent from Jorginho. Saka now has spotted a run here of Declan Rice, who flicks it beyond Van Hecke. Tariq Lamptey was sprinting back and makes a very important interception to roll it back to the goalkeeper. That was dangerous from Arsenal, as very quickly Jorginho sent Rice on his way there. Here is Jorginho once again, the Italian international. Plays it. I don't think that was intended for Odegaard. Odegaard got a heavy touch, and that's taken a bit of the progress out of things for the visitors. It's going to be Buonanotte and João Pedro certainly coming on for Brighton. Dunk makes an intercepting lunge on the edge of his own penalty area, and Cissé comes away with the ball and rolls it to the right hand side to Adingra. Adingra veers in field, and Cissé will now take it on, ploughs it into the stomach of Danny Welbeck. How he controlled that, I've no idea. Brighton lose the ball on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. As Gabriel Jesus back helping out the defence, gives it to Zinchenko, and now to Odegaard, and this high pace, high tempo nature of the game continues. Arsenal are going to make two changes too. There's going to be a return to the Amex for the former Brighton man Leandro Trossard, and Martinelli's got to come on. So two attacking players getting ready to enter the fray for Mikel Arteta. 1-0 Arsenal lead. 5 Live and BBC sounds from the Amex. Here's Ben White, 10 yards outside the Brighton penalty area, right hand side. He's got Saka outside him. Saka runs towards his Stupignon, comes in field of him, plays a decent left-footed delivery, but Dunk on the edge of his 6-yard box is able to head it away. Comes back out to White on the right-hand side. Saka's challenged by Enciso, goes down and stays down. Arsenal temporarily playing with 10. Odegaard though has found a ball through into the penalty area. Goes Jorginho, pulls it back. Havertz makes it 2-0. Kai Havertz doubles the lead for Mikel Arteta's team, who it looks to me are going back to the top of the Premier League tonight. Saka had been down injured, but Arsenal played on. Odegaard and Jorginho combining to set up Kai Havertz to score his 10th goal for Arsenal. It is absolutely priceless.
Well, it's a huge second, and Havertz does the easy bit in the end, tapping on that near post. All the hard work is done before, and it's brilliant from Arsenal out of possession, because they turn the ball over 2 or 3 times, but Brighton, they can't play out. They're looking to play out, but Arsenal are aggressive. They're on the front foot. They win the ball back on 2 or 3 occasions, and it's Odegaard who plays a really cute ball down the side of the 18-yard box, and it's a ball played into that near post area. I think it's Jorginho who makes the run. Havertz gets there first, Dunks desperately on the lunge, he can't get there. Across the 6-yard box, Havertz there to tap in. Massive goal for Arsenal. Breathing space.
You really cannot overstate the importance of that goal. Kai Havertz, who scored against Brighton when these sides met in December. But that goal really sums up Arsenal's season for me. The intricate little passes, the movement, the element of surprise. You would have expected Jorginho to pop up there, breaking into the penalty area. And then to the byline, pulling it back, and arriving right on cue was Kai Havertz to make it Brighton 0, Arsenal 2, as this title race it's no longer simmering, it is bubbling. Arsenal, if it stays like this, go top tonight. Liverpool could replace them tomorrow. Manchester City winning today to remain on the coattails for now. Substitutions have been made. Martinelli and Trossard on, and it's like for like with Saka and Gabriel Jesus making way. And Brighton also made their double substitution as well. I'll tell you about that in a moment, but let's just discuss this Arsenal change, the 2 wide men, Danny.
Yeah, well, no surprises really. It has been in a really intense game. Arsenal obviously got a big Champions League game coming up. They were actually getting stripped, the 2 substitutes, before that second goal went in, but have so much kind of quality, good depth from the bench now, Arsenal. But we can talk about how good they are in possession, but one of the biggest improvements of this Arsenal team over the last season or so is the work they kind of do off the ball, that high press, and that's where that second goal comes from. Yes, brilliant from Odegaard, we see him do that every week, but the work they do off the ball to win the ball back, to make it so difficult for Brighton to kind of play out, that's where the second goal comes from.
The changes for Brighton, João Pedro has come on in place of Jakob Moder, and Facundo Buonanotte has come on in place of Julio Enciso. So it's a change of formation. Brighton are going to put two up top now, with João Pedro coming on to join Danny Welbeck. Here is João Pedro, number 9 on his back, looking fit and fast, looking fresh. Rolls it out to the right-hand side to Tariq Lamptey for Brighton. Task doubly difficult now for Roberto De Zerbi's team. 1-0, there's always a chance in the Premier League. 2-0, much more difficult. Here is Buenanote involved for the first time, but he gives it away on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Odegaard is careful in possession. Gives the ball to Trossard. A few boos for Leandro Trossard from the Brighton fans who used to cheer him, and they do cheer here. They jeer him really because he slipped, and that's why they cheered as Brighton regained possession.
Yeah, proper centre-forwards goal that as well from Havertz. He's done a lot of different things in this game, dropping into midfield areas. We've seen him kind of pop up in wide areas, but then he gets in that goal-scoring position. When Jorginho gets inside the 18-yard box, that's what he wants to see, an easy kind of pick out. He's in the right area. It's a simple tapping in the end, but it's a really difficult player to play against, Havertz. So many facets to his game. He's got that link play, the hold-up play. As I say, he's got that freedom to kind of drift into wide areas. A difficult player to kind of pin down.
People wondered last season what did Arsenal need, and I think there was universal acceptance that Declan Rice was exactly what they needed. They needed that energy and drive in midfield, and everyone said Arsenal need a striker. I don't think everyone was convinced when they first heard it that Kai Havertz was going to be the man to win the league for Arsenal. But, he has been contributing to it. It's now 8 goals in his last 8 Premier League games between scoring and assists. And he is such an important part of how Mikel Arteta's team plays. João Pedro tries to get into the penalty area for Brighton. He's got a Dingra available outside him on the left. Then he slips João Pedro as he comes back to him. He's done well to get back up onto his feet. He's up against his fellow Brazilian Martinelli, and Martinelli shields and shepherds him 10 yards further back outside the Arsenal penalty area. The Amex Stadium, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. This is the 5:30 Premier League kickoff this Saturday in April as Brighton trail 2-0 to title-chasing Arsenal. Carlos Baleba has possession 15 yards outside the Arsenal penalty area. Dingra tries a back heel. It comes off the shins of Saliba and it goes out for a throw into Brighton. There's no time to waste as Pascal Gross takes it already. Baleba. Body language from Brighton is still good despite the 2-0 deficit. Estupiñán plays a low ball into Buenanote. Poor first touch. Welbeck tries to make the most of it and it's cleared away by Gabriel. Danny.
Yeah, well, they will continue to play the same way, Brighton. Even at 2-0, nothing will change. Yes, change in personnel from Roberto De Zerbi, but they will keep playing their football, keep knocking on the door. So from an Arsenal perspective, this game is still far from over, but I have to say they've controlled Brighton really well, Arsenal, up until this point. David Raya hasn't had too many saves to make, just like Enciso one really in the first half, which was a good save.
If you're up early in the morning, from 5:45 a.m, you can listen to the Japanese Grand Prix. Max Verstappen looking to get back to winning ways. At 12 noon, in 5 Live will bring you Rangers against Celtic, big game at the top of the Scottish Premiership. And 3 Premier League games tomorrow. Manchester United hosting Liverpool in the big one. That is a 3:30 kickoff, unusual Sunday kickoff time, 3:30. You can listen to the game in full. And correspondent John Murray will be commentating here on 5 Live from Old Trafford. Here at the Amex, Pascal Gross has possession for Brighton. Gives it infield to Lewis Dunk. Brighton really trying to compress things and force Arsenal deep. They play so high up the pitch when they've got possession. Van Hecke here, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Gives it to the right-hand side to Lamptey. Lamptey closely shadowed by Leandro Trossard. So he gives it back infield again. Here's Baleba to Estupiñán. Has a look up. Doesn't fancy playing it in too early. Odegaard dancing in front of him. Dunk makes himself available. Still 15 yards outside the Arsenal penalty area. Central location. Shifts it onto the right-hand side to Van Hecke. Now the pinpoint ball coming in low. Wasn't pinpoint enough. And Welbeck was beaten to it by Gabriel, who clears away.
Yeah, just Arsenal with everybody behind the ball. Just closing those spaces down, making it really difficult for Brighton. We've seen them high press and on a number of occasions win the ball back off Brighton, but on this occasion everybody behind the ball making it difficult.
Lamptey for Brighton steps into the penalty area on the right hand side, gives it back for Danny Welbeck, who wanted to play the 1-2 with João Pedro but couldn't get onto the second leg of it. Arsenal haven't fully cleared. Van Hecke picks up possession. He's got Kai Havertz to deal with and he twists and he swivels and he shakes off the German whose goal has given Arsenal the 2-goal lead here. Brighton will try their look down the left hand side with Dingra. Doesn't quite get into the penalty area. Passes it back to Baleba. Over to Van Hecke. Infield to Dunk again. Similar patterns from Brighton. They're hoping they could tease open an opportunity. As Stupinian tries to cross it, it hits the upper body of Martinelli. Brighton hold on to possession and they remain in the Arsenal final third. Adingra again. 12 yards on the byline down the left-hand side. Plays it in low towards the feet of Buenanotte. He can't control. Ben White gets a header on it, but there's no distance. Brighton get possession back immediately. In-swinging cross from Dunk, too close to Raya. Arsenal breathe a sigh of relief as the goalkeeper holds it.
Yeah, good passage of play from Brighton. Control possession, but just finding Arsenal very difficult to break down.
Here come Arsenal now. They've absorbed pressure for the last few minutes. They'd love to exert some. It's a shot from Trossard that's saved by his international colleague Verbruggen. It didn't seem to have an awful lot of pace in it, but Verbruggen was at full stretch as he got across to touch it out for a corner.
Yeah, lots of space for Trossard to get into on that left-hand side. They break quickly off that Brighton attack, and he's just trying to catch Verbruggen out on that near post. Full stretch, diving low to his right. Another good save from the Brighton keeper.
Declan Rice is going to take the corner. Arsenal take their time over this. There's 20 minutes to go. They're 2-0 up. There is no rush from Mikel Arteta's team point of view. Tomiyasu's been prepared as a substitute down below us. Not until after this corner, though. Arsenal, who love to drag players right to the extremity of the penalty area, far side from where the corner is taken. And then they burst in, Havertz and Gabriel, and it's a header for Gabriel. That works time and time again. Too many bodies in the way, though, and it's blocked. Saliba picks it up offside, though, as he got it the second time. And that is a free kick to Brighton. You know, it's remarkable. You know exactly what Arsenal are going to do with those corner kicks, but knowing what they're going to do and stopping them doing it are two very different things.
It looks like something that they've worked on. Gabriel just lurking on that far post, trying to find a mismatch. We saw it in the first half against Pascal Gross. That could have been a possible penalty. Another one against Lamptey. Normally you see Arsenal where they have 3, 4, 5 bodies lined up on the far post, and they all tend to run towards the near post, but they've not really done that one today. So it looks like one worked off the training ground where they're just trying to isolate Gabriel on the far post against a smaller man.
Takahiro Tomiyasu, the Japanese international, comes on in place of Alexander Zinchenko. Fullback for fullback as Arsenal look to see this through. At the start of today, Arsenal were second in the Premier League behind Liverpool. Manchester City won at Selhurst Park earlier on, so City moved above Arsenal into second. Now Arsenal on the verge of going back to top spot again. Liverpool could be at the summit of the table by tea time tomorrow if they win at Old Trafford. I mean, we talk about tight title races, but this has been wafer thin. Free kick to Brighton for a foul on Estupinian. Gross gives it back to Dunk. Dunk plays it forward, and that's a rare long ball from Brighton, and Welbeck had anticipated it. He's got a Adingra in field of him. Corner angle the penalty area for Welbeck. He gives it to João Pedro, who couldn't hold on to it with his first touch, and then that's a foul. Pascal Gross has cleaned out Leandro Trossard. Free kick to Arsenal on the edge of their penalty area.
You see how quickly Arsenal get bodies back there. Really good ball played over the top, releasing Welbeck. He cuts in off this left-hand side. He looks to play a square ball to Pedro. By the time he's touched it, there's 5, 6, 7 Arsenal bodies back. Fantastic intensity, recovery runs to kind of get back in, and again, Brighton attack comes to nothing.
If it stays like this, Arsenal will have taken 31 points from the last 33 available to them. It's just a fantastic run they're on. That is title-winning form by any definition, but there are 2 other teams who've also got their eyes on that big prize. And you know, the really remarkable thing is Arsenal could win every game to the end of the season and it still mightn't be enough.
Yeah, all 3 teams could do that with the quality that they have.
Here is Baleba, held up just short of the penalty area by Martinelli, who's really tapped into this tracking back ethos of the Arsenal team since his introduction. He and Trossard have done as much in defence as they have done in attack. Mikel Arteta's not taking anything for granted. I was listening to his interview on, was it Wednesday night? Yeah, it was. It was Wednesday when they played Luton, and he was asked, you know, when it was 2-0 up, you still put on Declan Rice, were you still worried? And he said, I'm always worried. You know, 2-0, it's no guarantee. The minute you decide you're not worried anymore, that's when things go wrong. And he does still look agitated down there, despite his team. I think it's fair to say, Danny, playing very well today. They deserve to be in front.
They've been excellent. Could have scored more, but been really impressed with the defensive side of their game again. Now they've controlled this Brighton team, who are a really difficult team to play against, but haven't really created too many clear-cut chances. Brighton have played some really good football at times. They've looked threatening at times, but the way Arsenal have controlled them out of possession has been equally as impressive as what they've done with the ball.
It's not really that Brighton have done anything wrong today, it's just Arsenal have been better. Here is Adingra twisting and turning with Ben White on the left wing for Brighton. Roberto De Zerbi's preparing to make a change. Adingra gives it short to Estupinian. This is just outside the Arsenal penalty area. Arsenal have done well today to keep Brighton out of the box. They've hovered on the periphery of it regularly, but so few occasions that Brighton got into the penalty area. Estupinian plays a delivery straight to the gloves of the goalkeeper Ryan. Now Brighton need something special. They need a sort of unknown element. They need just an X factor, and maybe Ansu Fati could be the man to provide it. The youngster on loan from Barcelona is about to come on for the hosts.
Well, they need to keep believing, Brighton. As I said, still time in this game for them to find a way back into it. Just looking to launch a quick counter-attack there from David Raya. Just looking to kick a ball over the top. I think it's Havertz who gets dragged down by Baleba.
Danny Welbeck is the player who makes way. Danny Welbeck, who had scored Brighton's last 2 goals in all competitions, scored against Liverpool last weekend, scored against Roma before that in Europe. He goes off against his old club to allow the introduction of Ansu Fati. It's Fati's first Premier League appearance in a month. He's got 4 goals for Brighton, 2 in the Premier League, 2 in the Europa League. Can he make this an exciting finish at the Amex? So Arsenal come on the attack. Tomiyasu into the penalty area, and Verbruggen did well to dive out at his feet and win possession back for Brighton. Brighton who trailed 2-0. Baleba to Van Hecke, still inside his own penalty area. Back to the goalkeeper, onto Dunk. Brighton find a way to play their way out.
Well, they're not out yet.
Just as I said that, Dunk gives it back to the goalkeeper. It's a blinking game at times, cat and mouse, as they tease Arsenal a little bit. Here's João Pedro to Adingra on the left-hand side. Ansu Fati has taken up a position to begin with, at least in the centre. Van Hecke into Arsenal territory, picks out Fati, gives it back to the Dutch defender once again. Tried to return it infield towards Pascal Gross, intercepted. Saliba for Arsenal, cleared away by Ben White, and again anywhere will do. White is fouled as he clears it. Both players have hurt themselves there. So Buonanotte, who's still down as Ben White gets to his feet.
He just comes across trying to block the clearance. Ben White clears the ball and just follows through with his leg and actually catches Buonanotte with his studs. Both players go down trying to draw the foul.
Brighton, who have got so many talented youngsters, and we've seen in recent seasons they give them taste of the big time, and then so many they sell on for big profits. It's no wonder that other clubs keep trying to poach the backroom staff around here. Head of recruitment Sam Jewell is on gardening leave at the moment, pending his move to Chelsea. Profits recorded by Brighton for the last financial year, the biggest profit ever recorded by a Premier League team, which when you think about it, you think of the massive clubs in the Premier League and the money, that Brighton would post the biggest profit tells you everything. And that doesn't even include, those numbers were up to last summer, so it doesn't include Moises Caicedo and the whatever that was, 125 million to Chelsea.
Yeah, it's taken Brighton a fair bit of time to kind of get it to this point, but a really well-run club. Fantastic kind of model that they have. Not sure if Roberto De Zerbi totally agrees with it. He wants to know what the plan is for next season. It's been a more difficult season for Brighton, I would say. I think 9th position is still good for them with the amount of injuries that they had. Obviously juggling European football as well, losing 2 of the best midfielders in the Premier League in Caicedo and McAllister.
And it's a foul on Estupinian, and it's going to be a yellow card for Saliba. That's the first booking of the game. Yellow card for William Saliba. Brighton wanted to take the free kick quickly. Referee's got to write the name in the book, so that was premature. It will be a crossing position on the left-hand side for Pascal Gross. Saliba into the back of Estupinian. I mean, not the most violent foul you've ever seen, but the referee deciding that it deserved more than just a free kick. 11 minutes to play.
It's an opportunity for Brighton here. So up to this point, they've defended these crosses, these set pieces really well, Arsenal, but we know he's got good delivery, Pascal Gross. Can he get one of these on the money?
Played in by Estupinian, an outswinger. Gabriel Rose best for Arsenal. He wins so many headers in both penalty areas. Does Gabriel. Gross gives it to Estupinian once again on the left-hand side. Brighton not giving up here. Adingra up against Kai Havertz. The German stops him. Well-timed tackle. Chance of a counter-attack. Odegaard gives it to Jorginho. Jorginho's lost it here to Ansu Fati. Now Buonanotte, 10 yards outside the penalty area, central location, turns back at himself, weaves in between Jorginho and Odegaard. That was brilliant. Here's Ansu Fati, he's got a trick up his sleeve too. Down in the penalty area goes Adingra, but the referee was close to it and he says no penalty.
Well, correct decision, but they just can't get a shot away, Brighton. Arsenal are so quick to recover when they lose the ball. They got bodies in the right area. Great feat from Buonanotte to create half a yard, but they never get a shot away in the end.
Joe Pedro, Ansu Fati scoops it high, Gross chests it down. Here is Adingra. He tries to cross it, it's deflected away out for a corner. Well, you know, the reason Arsenal are in the title race, yes, it's got to do with their exhilarating attack, but it's got so much to do with their hard-as-nails defence, and they are doing great work here against a Brighton team throwing everything at it.
It's a good spell for Brighton. Lots of possession in and around Arsenal's 18-yard box, just not an FM product.
Pascal Gross sends in the corner. It wasn't high enough, and it's headed away by Kai Havertz, the first defender. And that goes out for a throw into Brighton, who remain on the attack down the left-hand side. Speaking about how Brighton are run as a club, and you think of other teams, when things are going well, you're worried that they're going to poach your best players, you're worried that someone else is going to poach your manager. Feels at Brighton that nobody's irreplaceable. You know, any one of these players could go and they would have this production line, some new South American you've never heard of who's brilliant, who would be ready to step in, and that includes the coach. You know, when Graham Potter left, everyone thought that was going to be a crisis for Brighton, and even if De Zerbi goes, I think they find someone else, and it's the plan of the club rather than the plan of the manager.
Yeah, planning and pre-planning is so important for this club. You do wonder how long that kind of model can survive. You get a couple of players that, you know, possible gems you think you've signed, and maybe they don't perform. You know how difficult this kind of league is. There's a lot of things you need to get right, so they're going to continue with that model. They're going to have to continue to keep unearthing these gems, these rough diamonds, and then obviously throwing them in and developing them.
Odegaard takes the free kick for Arsenal, can't get it over the top of the backpedaling Estupinian. His header has only half cleared, and Saliba will pick up possession for Arsenal inside the Brighton half. Adingra gets in tight on Ben White, and the ball goes out for an Arsenal throw on the right hand side. Arsenal are almost there, 2 goals to the good, 8 minutes of normal time to play. The goals came first in the first half, a penalty from Bukayo Saka, and then in the second period Kai Havertz finished off a flowing move for his 10th goal for the club. Here's Martinelli into the penalty area, just wouldn't sit up for him, thought like he was going to get a shot away, but he couldn't, and Verbruggen was out to make the save.
Dunk doing a good job, just tracked the runner. Martinelli got himself kind of goal side, used his body just to usher that back to the goalkeeper, but Arsenal still pushing as well for a third goal.
Brighton Hove Albion 0, Arsenal 2. Estupinian feeds it into João Pedro. Manchester United against Liverpool commentary to come tomorrow afternoon on 5 Live. João Pedro hit the deck there, the referee says no foul. Brighton throw. Pascal Gross, who's been the creative hub for Roberto De Zerbi this season. First Brighton player to ever get into double figures for Premier League assists in a campaign. Estupinian challenged by Ben White. João Pedro picks it up. Gross again. Brighton back near the halfway line. Lewis Dunk looks up for options. Gives it short to Pascal Gross. Arsenal just need to keep it tight now. Just need to see this through. Big games to come, of course. Bayern Munich in the Champions League on Tuesday. Bayern who've knocked Arsenal out of Europe 3 times in the last few years. Next weekend, back in the Premier League, it's Aston Villa at the Emirates for Arsenal. That won't be an easy game. Estupinian comes forward for Brighton here. He's got Adingra in a left wing position. He'll play it back to Lewis Dunk. Arsenal really defending their penalty area now. Stretched out from one edge of it to the other. As a cross comes in from Buonanotte, and Adingra will do really well to keep that in. He does keep it in, but he can't hold on to the ball. And Martinelli clears away in a different tactic now from Arsenal. Look at Mikel Arteta. Stay. We do not need to come and press. You stay back there. He doesn't want the defence to push out.
Now they just got all their men behind the ball. just trying to protect the 2-0 lead. So we saw them pressing high for most of this game and having a lot of joy with that, but just switching things tactically now with them having the 2-goal advantage, just dropping deeper, making it difficult for Brighton to find any space.
5 line from the BBC, backheeled by the corner flag from Martinelli. White clears it away, and again, anywhere will do, just get it down the other end. Think, says Mikel Arteta, think, as he points his fingers to his forehead. Stupinian comes again. Brighton are seeing all of the ball. I bet you when the stats come at the end of the game, Brighton will have had more possession, but at the moment Arsenal are letting them have it because they just want to defend the penalty area. Pascal Gross has it. Midway inside Arsenal territory, gives it to Buonanotte on the far side. There's so many remnants here of the Manchester City game at the Etihad, where City attacked and attacked but couldn't get into the box to pull the trigger. That's what Brighton are experiencing now, and the chance of a breakaway. Trossard cannot be offside because he was inside his own half, and Leandro Trossard can finish it here, and he does. It's 3-0 against his old team. Leandro Trossard surely wraps up the win for Arsenal on the South Coast, and 3 points that are going to bring them to the top of the Premier League tonight in this title race that Arsenal refuse to be pushed out of this time. Trossard surely seals the deal now. Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. That's that.
It certainly is, Conor. The icing on the cake for Arsenal. It's been a brilliant performance from them. It really has. And again, the goal coming from Brighton, giving the ball away in the central area. Trossard runs from his own half. He gets played in. He's got a lot of time to think about this finish. Lots of different things going through his mind, I'm sure. Havertz plays him in. He's over the halfway line, in on the goalie. It's fantastic composure. Little dink over the goalkeeper. Verbruggen goes down. What a brilliant moment of quality that is from Trossard. And that is the icing on the cake, as I say. Brilliant, brilliant performance from Arsenal.
Leandro Trossard, who scored 4 Brighton against Arsenal 2 seasons ago. That is his 12th goal of the campaign for the club. He's Arsenal's second top scorer this season. It's been his best campaign since coming to England. And that is a goal that puts it beyond doubt surely now. Arteta's going to make 2 late changes. Brighton, who've given it everything, but Brighton, for all the plaudits they deservedly get, are not a title contending team, and they have come up against a title standard in this game today. 3-0, and it really doesn't flatter Mikel Arteta's side. They had so many chances in this game. Down goes Ansu Fati, free kick to Brighton. They will battle on, but surely the goose is cooked.
I think we all thought this was going to be a tricky game for Arsenal to navigate, but they really have done it with flying colours. They've made light work of Brighton, you have to say.
Arsenal fans celebrating behind the goal their team are attacking. Brighton, who've pushed everyone forward, now have to get back again. Declan Rice bearing down on the Brighton penalty area, has a shot from distance, and it wasn't very far away. Deflected out for a corner. Well, Rice, he didn't sprint there, he sort of took it in a controlled manner to the edge of the penalty area, and he very nearly made it 4 with that shot. Corner to Arsenal. Changes coming. Odegaard is going to be given a rest here. Fabio Vieira will come on for the closing minutes for the visitors. And Eddie Nketiah, who scored against Brighton in this fixture last season, he's going to get a run too, replacing Kai Havertz. 3-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, great for Mikel Arteta to have this kind of luxury, able to kind of rest key players for that important Champions League game against Bayern coming up. But what a performance from this Arsenal team. As I said, a lot of people thinking this would be a tricky game for them. There's tricky games to come for them after this. Out of the 3 teams up there, they've probably got the more difficult of the run-ins, but playing like this, they're the team out with a 3, I think, least likely to drop points.
Arsenal fans behind that goal, their team attack, and delirium. How much fun it must be to be an Arsenal fan at the moment. Still in the Champions League, of course, as well. They have had to wait a long, long time for one of the big trophies to get back in their trophy cabinet. Could this be the year? Havertz in swinging corner. Gabriel again at the back post. And it's saved, I think, onto the woodwork. Ball eventually ricochets down still in play for Martinelli. Gabriel has won almost every corner that Arsenal have had today.
Yeah, Brighton allowing that to happen again. Lamptey up against Gabriel.
Here's Martinelli into the penalty area. Great turn of direction. Then he tries to put it on a plate for little Eddie Nketiah, who couldn't spring high enough. He did get his head to it, but he couldn't power it downwards. And Nketiah's header goes over the top. But Arsenal just thoroughly enjoying themselves now.
Yeah, thirsty for more goals, and goal difference might be a factor come end of the season. It's very healthy for Arsenal at the minute. Another 3 today. Superb performance from them. As I said, both sides of the game, not just what they've done with the ball, the work rate kind of out of possession as well, how difficult they've made it for Brighton. That's been the platform for the win.
Estupinian to Simon Adingra. We've gone into stoppages at the end of the game. 5 minutes to be added on. Adingra loses his balance in the penalty area. Challenged by Saliba. Ball goes out for a corner. Corner to Brighton, but so many of their supporters have already made their way towards the exit. And Brighton, who rightly get a lot of praise, who are very good to watch, who've contributed massively to making this such an entertaining game, but they have been picked off by superior opposition in this game at the Amex this evening. Corner's going to be taken by Pascal Gross. Again, that one-step run-up that he does, and he doesn't get enough height on it. It's cleared away. Header of the front post by Nketiah, goes straight to Estupinian. Back out to Pascal Gross, who had taken the corner. He returns it to Estupinian to the byline. Flashes in a decent cross. Controlled by João Pedro. And his shot is deflected away by Gabriel. And look at these scenes. And Arsenal, some people do mock and laugh with them, saying that they over-celebrate at times. But the teammates swarmed around Gabriel there for making a block as if he scored a goal.
Brilliant defending. You can see what it means for those Arsenal players. Like you say, Con, exactly like they scored a goal, but that's the level of focus and determination this Arsenal team has now.
Ball played in, headed out by Ben White. I mean, there are goalkeepers who save penalties who don't get celebrations from teammates as enthusiastic as that. Ball is played back into the penalty area by Pascal Gross for Brighton, then battle on. Here is Ansu Fati on the left-hand side, gives it to Adingra. But Brighton have not been able to get into the penalty. They have danced and hovered around the periphery all afternoon, but they have not been able to get into the box. It has been a no-go zone as Arsenal absolutely lay a hand of steel. Just the authority, the iron dome they've put on that penalty area has been so impressive.
Yeah, so well drilled. If they hang on here, Arsenal, I think it's 6 clean sheets in the last kind of 8 games, so you can see why. Well-drilled team.
That's why the goal difference is so good. And as Danny's been alluding to, Arsenal with a much better goal difference about Liverpool and Manchester City. They score a lot, they don't concede many. Here is Trossard, whose third goal has really made this a comfortable finish for Mikel Arteta's team. Adingra plays it back under pressure from Martinelli, all the way back to the goalkeeper for Brugge. Brighton's next game, they travel to Burnley in the Premier League on Saturday. The next Premier League visitors here to the Amex are Manchester City. And will City fare as well on this pitch as Arsenal have done today? Because it's not easy. You've got to play really well here to win, and Arsenal have done.
Yeah, you've got to get both sides of the game right, and Arsenal have this evening. Brighton will play this well and beat a lot of teams in the Premier League. They've still got something to play for with their remaining games. They're pushing for Europe again, so this is the result they're going to have to move on from quickly.
This is going to be a first defeat in 15 home games for Brighton. Their supporters are not used to seeing their team lose here. There's been plenty draws. No visiting team has won here in the Premier League since August. Estupinian challenged by Martinelli on the left wing. Estupinian does well to ride the tackle, but then he can't hold off Jorginho. And that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Estupinian in his attempts to push the Italian international away has given away a free kick. And we are into now the final 90 seconds of the 5 minutes being added on for stoppages.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad today up until Arsenal's 8-yard box from Brighton, but as soon as they've got in and around there, they've just kind of run out of ideas. So many Arsenal bodies getting back into position quickly and making it really difficult for Brighton to skip past the man, cross the ball into the box, thread a ball in behind. A really good defensive display from Arsenal, and you have to defend well here at the Amex with the football that Brighton play, but they've just not had the answers this evening.
6:06 coming up with Natalie Pike and Chris Sutton very shortly here on 5 Live. Your chance to get on the air and air your thoughts on the football action up and down the land and up and down the leagues The number to get involved tonight, 08085 909 693. That's 08085 909 693. Maybe you're an Arsenal fan celebrating another very important win that propels your team to the top of the Premier League tonight. Arsenal fans will be sleeping easy. They'll sit back and enjoy Liverpool's attempts at Old Trafford tomorrow. As Dingdra stretches in the penalty area here, but he can't keep the ball away from Ben White. White with a right-footed cross that he couldn't get the elevation on. Fabio Vieira jumps and he's trailing arm there, and I don't think he meant it, but he was leaping in the air and his arm cut the face of João Pedro, and that is going to... Well, no, I was going to say surely that wasn't going to be a yellow card for that. It's a yellow card for Ben White for complaining about the decision. So the decision itself was just a free kick, but Ben White complained and John Brooks showed him a yellow card for that. Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. Closing stages, closing seconds really. And there is the full-time whistle from John Brooks as once again Mikel Arteta's team get the job done. The Premier League lead changes hands for the 20th time in this epic title race season. It is Arsenal who move back to the top now, ahead of Liverpool's visit to Old Trafford tomorrow. For Brighton, their first home defeat in the league since August. Arsenal are still unbeaten in the Premier League in 2024. The penalty from Saka, then 2 goals in the second half from Havertz and Trossard, and Arsenal looked the business, Danny Gabbidon here.
Title-winning performance, Conor. Super impressive performance from this Arsenal team. Tricky fixture this, coming to the Amex for them, and they looked fully focused. They really did, and dominated in all departments. Made light work of Brighton in the end. Could have scored more goals, but for me the platform to the performance wasn't what they did with the ball, it's what they did without it. How hard they worked for each other, how difficult they made it for this kind of Brighton team. And it could have been more goals in the end. So to respond so well off the back of that Man City result earlier in the day, and now to throw the pressure back on Liverpool now tomorrow, that's exactly what Mikel Arteta would have wanted. So top draw performance.
Arsenal have done what they needed to do. This band of brothers, and you can see the cohesion between them, you can see the camaraderie. They walk down towards the Arsenal fans who've travelled and vocally supported them so well, and they hope and they believe that they are on the verge of something very, very special. 20 years since Arsenal were last crowned champions of England. They've done their part here. For now, they are top of the table, and it's up to others to hunt them back.